Chapter 758. He wouldn't dare. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head and said, "My father looks like a very stubborn and cold person, but he's actually very weak. If you take the initiative to visit him, he might make things difficult for you to avoid trouble with the Luo imperial family and the Zhu family's reputation. However, you're staying in a hotel, and you're protected by the Dragon Emperor. He wouldn't dare to take the initiative to find trouble with you." "Ah, Zhuqing, you don't have a very high opinion of your father," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "He's always been such a person. Although he's the Grand Duke of the Netherworld and has a high status in the Sionra Empire, he's very weak inside. If you visit him this time, you just have to appear a little stronger. Under the pressure of your strength, he'll definitely give in. Therefore, the Zhu family is actually very easy to deal with. I'm mainly worried about the Luo imperial family. They're very cruel. This can be seen from the way they fight for the throne. The two most outstanding princes of this generation of the Luo imperial family have both fallen into your hands. Therefore, they'll definitely make a move on you after they find out about you. Although you're very strong and have the protection of two titled soul masters, and Elder Long is an ultimate Douluo, I'm still a little worried about you." Zhu Zhuqing said softly. "You're confused because you're worried. This means that you care about me." Lu Yuan smiled as he touched Zhu Zhuqing's nose. "Yes, I'm already yours. Furthermore, I have nothing but you. How can I not care about you? I'm not like you. You have 5 girlfriends and a pestering teacher. I'm afraid you don't care about me." Zhu Zhuqing rolled her eyes and said softly, "What nonsense are you talking about? Of course I care about you. You've been with me for so long. Don't you feel anything about how I treat you?" Lu Yuan looked a little displeased. "Ah, don't be angry. I'm just joking." Zhu Zhuqing hurriedly explained when she saw the displeasure on Lu Yuan's face. "Ah, actually, I'm also pretending." Lu Yuan's displeased expression quickly disappeared, and a smile appeared on his face again. "I've been fooled by you again." Zhu Zhuqing immediately huffed when she saw this. "Hey, aren't you trying to scare me too? It's just that your skills aren't as good as mine," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "You're still talking." Zhu Zhuqing made a fierce expression at Lu Yuan. She looked like a little kitten when she was angry. She was really cute. "I insist. What can you do to me?" Lu Yuan said. "I can bite you to death." Grabbing Lu Yuan's arm, Zhu Zhuqing bit down. Crescent Moon Hotel. They booked 2 rooms. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing shared one room, while Long Xiaoyao shared another. The room number was 606. With Zhu Zhuqing in tow, Lu Yuan went straight into the room. The furnishings of the room were pretty good. After all, it was the best hotel in Senyu City. It couldn't be compared to the Holy Light Hotel, but it was still first class. At least one thing that made Lu Yuan very satisfied was that the bed was really big. He liked this kind of big bed. He held Zhu Zhuqing's hand and sat down on the sofa. Lu Yuan lifted Zhu Zhuqing's chin with his finger. There was a strange smile on his face. "Does it still hurt?" Lu Yuan asked. "You're still talking about it. Why is your skin so hard?" "I bit so hard but I didn't leave a single mark. Instead, my teeth hurt." Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with a trace of doubt in her eyes. "Of course it's hard. My body is now transparent, just like real jade. It's invulnerable to weapons, water, and fire. If you want to break through my defense, you have to be at least a titled battle pet warrior. It'll be strange if you can hurt me with your teeth," Lu Yuan said with a smile. "Then why didn't you remind me?" Zhu Zhuqing's eyes were filled with resentment. "You were the one who wanted to bite me. You bit me so hard that I didn't have time to remind you. Why do you have to learn from your senior sister? Why are you all like puppies? Why do you like to bite people? Zhuqing, you have to remember that you're a cat, not a dog," Lu Yuan said helplessly. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but glare at Lu Yuan. She didn't answer and sat there alone without saying a word. Seeing this, Lu Yuan smiled and gently hugged her. The night was getting dark. Zhu Zhuqing was bathing in the bathroom, while Lu Yuan was lying on the sofa, playing with his fingers in boredom. Ding, the sign-in mission is complete. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 100,000-year Radiant Unicorn and 2 title Douluo draw cards. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded in Lu Yuan's mind. Is it finally completed? Hearing the system's voice, Lu Yuan couldn't help but have a look of joy on his face. I'll keep the 100,000-year Radiant Unicorn in the system space for the time being. I won't touch it. I'll take it out and give it to Cher when I go back. But I can use these 2 title Douluo draw cards first. I wonder who I'll get this time. Lu Yuan thought to himself. System, use the title Douluo draw card. Lu Yuan said softly. Use the title Douluo draw card. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Daotai Douluo, Xian Zi. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the Class 9 Soul Engineer, Jing Hongchen, Hall Master of the illustrious Virtue Hall. Oh, it's the 2 of them. Hearing the system's voice, Lu Yuan was slightly delighted. The Daotai Douluo, Xian Zi, was the master of the Sea God's Pavilion after the dragon god Douluo Mu Yen during the second battle. He was a rank 98 Douluo, and his martial soul was the godly Daotai Bull. He was very strong, and was at least much stronger than the golden crocodile from the Hall of Consecration. After all, the godly Daotai Bull possessed the Taotiez bloodline. It was a dragon-type martial soul, and its rank was much higher than the golden crocodile king's. Jing Hongchen was a Class 9 Soul Engineer. During the second battle, he was the leader of the Sun Moon Empire's Hongchen clan, and the Hall Master of the illustrious Virtue Hall. His martial soul was a toad, and he was a rank 94 titled Douluo. Although he was only rank 94, he was equipped with a full set of Class 9 soul tools. Even a rank 97 transcendent Douluo couldn't take him down. He was very familiar with the use of soul tools. It seems like we're quite lucky this time. Needless to say, the Daotai Douluo is very strong. He should be the strongest person below an ultimate Douluo. With him, the quality of titled Douluo in the Dragon King Hall can rival that of the Hall of Consecration, or even surpass it by a little. After all, Elder Long is a little stronger than Elder Qian, and the Daotai Douluo is a little stronger than Grandpa Golden Crocodile. Uncle Yang and Sister Xiaodao are also powerful transcendent Douluo, and they all have 100,000-year soul rings. This is something that the Hall of Consecration's Qianjun Demon and the rest can't compare to. In terms of fighting strength, Uncle Yang and the rest are much stronger. Chapter 759. Among the remaining people, only Jing Hongchen and Elder Dugu are below rank 95. Both of them are rank 94 now. However, Jing Hongchen is quite strong with the help of a soul tool. He can fight a transcendent Douluo. This means that Elder Dugu is still the weakest. It seems like Elder Dugu can't get rid of his title as the weakest. As he thought until here, Lu Yuan couldn't help but laugh. In the original novel, Dugu Bo was the weakest titled Douluo. He couldn't beat anyone of the same rank. Right now, he wasn't the weakest titled Douluo anymore. After all, he was a rank 94 titled Douluo. However, he was still the weakest in the Dragon King Palace. This was because the Frenzy Rhino Douluo didn't belong to the Dragon King Palace strictly speaking. He belonged to Sendryu. If that's the case, I have quite a lot of power now. As he thought about his current lineup, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. Long Xiaoyao, a rank 99 ultimate Douluo. Xian Zi, a rank 98 pinnacle Douluo. Yang Xiaozhe, a rank 97 transcendent Douluo. Ziji, a demonic infernal dragon king who had lived for more than 200,000 years. She was comparable to a rank 97 transcendent Douluo. Ma Xiaodao, a rank 96 transcendent Douluo. Jing Hongchen, a rank 94 titled Douluo and a class 9 soul engineer. His fighting strength wasn't inferior to a transcendent Douluo. Dugu Bo, a rank 94 titled Douluo, was the best at group attack. These were the 7 titled Douluo of the Dragon King Palace. With these 7 people, the Dragon King Palace was definitely one of the most powerful superpowers on the continent. With such power, Lu Yuan was naturally fearless. Why should I be afraid of the Star Luo royal family? I can come and go as I please. What can they do to me? Lu Yuan wasn't afraid at all. Furthermore, I won't have anything to do with creating soul tools in the future now that I've obtained Jing Hongchen. I can leave everything to him. Lu Yuan was overjoyed when he thought about how he could be freed from the bitter life of crafting soul tools. To be honest, crafting soul tools was very tiring. He had put in a lot of effort to craft soul tools for the Seven Treasures Glazed sect. Now that he had a Class 9 soul engineer like Jing Hongchen, he didn't have to craft soul tools himself anymore. In Lu Yuan's opinion, drawing Jing Hongchen made him even happier than drawing the Daotai Douluo. Right, system, where are they now? Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Zhuqing, who was bathing inside. This was not a good place for them to appear. They will randomly appear within a 1-kilometer radius of the host. Now, they have sensed the host's aura and are rushing towards the Crescent Moon Hotel. The system's voice rang out. That's not bad. Looks like it's similar to Elder Long's situation. Fine, let them stay in the Crescent Moon Hotel first. We'll wait for Sister Xiaodao to return before we act together. Lu Yuan said softly. Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Zhuqing before he left the room in a flash. After receiving Xian Zi and Jing Hongchen and arranging rooms for them, Lu Yuan quickly returned to his room. At this moment, Zhu Zhuqing had just finished bathing and was walking out of the bathroom. Zhu Zhuqing raised her eyebrows when she saw Lu Yuan's figure. She asked, "What bad things did you do this time?" Lu Yuan's mouth twitched when he heard her question. He said, "I'm not familiar with this place. What bad things can I do? I went out to receive 2 people earlier. They are 2 new titled Douluo." Hey! Zhu Zhuqing's eyes widened when she heard his words. Did she hear wrongly? 2 more new titled Douluo? Are you very surprised? Come over, I'll tell you slowly. Lu Yuan beckoned Zhu Zhuqing over and said softly. Zhu Zhuqing nodded when she heard his words. She sat down beside Lu Yuan. As she had just finished bathing, her hair was still wet. Lu Yuan took the towel from her hand. He introduced Zhu Zhuqing to the Daotai Douluo Shenzi and Jing Hongchen as he helped her dry her hair. One day later, in the morning, the sun was rising, and everything was coming to life. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing also woke up. The 2 of them were eating breakfast in the dining room when Ma Xiaodao's fiery red figure suddenly appeared in front of them. Master, Ma Xiaodao has completed her mission. The Zither sect's disciples are already paying close attention to the Star Luo royal family. We will know immediately if anything happens. Very good. Sister Xiaodao, it's been hard on you. You haven't eaten breakfast yet, right? Sit down and eat with us. Lu Yuan pointed to a chair at the side and said gently. That's not very good. Ma Xiaodao was a little tempted. However, she felt a little embarrassed when she saw the 3 old men staring at them from another table. Then why don't you sit with Elder Long and Elder Xian? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. Then I'll sit with you, Master. Ma Xiaodao instinctively chose to reject the offer when she thought about eating with Xian Zi, whose hair was messy and body was covered in grease. Little brother's place is better. It's clean and tidy. Furthermore, there are handsome men and beautiful women. It's very pleasing to the eye. It's much better than the 3 old men. Then why did you say so much? Lu Yuan glared at her. After that, he asked the waiter to bring another set of cutlery. Ma Xiaodao was obviously very hungry after rushing over so early in the morning. Lu Yuan and Xian Zi only ate a little bit of porridge. Ma Xiaodao finished everything on the table. Everyone should be done eating. If Elder Xian isn't full, ask someone to bring more for you to eat on the way. Lu Yuan looked around at everyone. Finally, his gaze stopped on Xian Zi. Xian Zi needed to eat frequently because of his godly Daotai Bull martial soul. Hence, he always brought a lot of food with him. Lu Yuan naturally knew about this. This was also the reason why he always held a gourd in one hand and a drumstick in the other. Thank you for your concern, Master. I've prepared myself. Xian Zi was obviously very happy to be greeted by Lu Yuan. He immediately replied, It's good that you've prepared yourself. We'll set off now. Lu Yuan said softly. Let's go, Zhuqing. Lu Yuan grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's hand and walked out of the hotel with her. Long Xiaoyao and the other three hurriedly followed. They followed Lu Yuan as they walked towards the Zhu family's residence. The Zhu family was the ruler of Senyu City. Naturally, they lived in the best place in Senyu City. Lu Yuan wasn't very familiar with Senyu City. However, Zhu Zhuqing grew up here. Hence, she knew the place very well. Hence, Zhu Zhuqing led the way. After walking for about half an hour, they finally arrived outside the Duke of the Netherworld's mansion. The Duke's mansion was very big. Although it couldn't be compared to the palace, it wasn't small. After all, it was a duke, and the Netherworld family was connected to the Star Luo royal family through marriage. In the Sionra Empire, the Netherworld family's status was still very high. If the mansion wasn't big enough, it wouldn't be worthy of their status. Chapter 760. Returning to this place once again, Zhu Zhuqing could not help but feel a little emotional. Since she left this place at the age of 9 and went to the Life Remnant, it had been more than 5 years. This also meant that she had not returned for 5 years. Although this home was dark and cold, leaving her with very bad memories, no matter what, this was the place where she grew up. Zhu Zhuqing still had some feelings for this place. Especially her mother, the only person who had ever loved her. She missed her very much in her heart. Although her mother did not help much when she was attacked by her sister, Zhu Zhuqing did not blame her. This was because she knew that her mother cared about her very much. However, due to the ancestral rules, her mother could not do anything. Moreover, she and her sister were both her mother's daughters. They were both flesh and blood. Seeing her two daughters kill each other while she could not do anything, perhaps her mother's heart was also very painful. Zhu Zhuqing secretly thought in her heart. What's wrong, Zhuqing? Did you remember the past? Seeing Zhu Zhuqing in a daze as she stared at the door of the Duke's mansion, her expression constantly changing, Lu Yuan could not help but softly ask. Yes, but it doesn't matter. Those are all in the past. It's just that suddenly returning here made my heart a little uneasy. Seeing Lu Yuan's concerned expression, Zhu Zhuqing said with a slight smile. That smile was very gentle, causing Lu Yuan to involuntarily hold her lily-white hand tightly. No matter how you were in this family before, or how others bullied you, today I am here. I will support you. Everyone who bullied you will have to pay the price. From now on, I will not let you suffer the slightest grievance. Lu Yuan said with a firm tone. Abuchi. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing's eyes turned red. Her eyes were filled with deep emotions. Okay, you can't cry today. You have to smile and see how I vent your anger for you. Oh right, Zhuqing, if I beat your father up today, it won't matter, right? Suddenly remembering something, Lu Yuan asked Zhu Zhuqing. It won't matter. However, he is my father after all, so don't be too heavy-handed. Zhu Zhuqing said. Understood. I'll be merciful. Let's go. I want to see how your father is going to welcome me when he knows that I'm coming to visit. Lu Yuan smiled and took Zhu Zhuqing's hand as they walked towards the entrance of the Duke's mansion. Who are you? This is the Duke of Netherworld's mansion. No trespassing. Lu Yuan and the others were stopped by the guards as soon as they arrived at the gate. Who are you? You don't know her? Pointing at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan said faintly. You are the second young miss? The guard asked in surprise as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing. It's me, Zhu Zhuqing said. Greetings, second miss. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing announce her identity, the guard immediately bowed. No need. Make way. We're going in, Zhu Zhuqing said. I'm sorry, second miss. The Duke has ordered that second miss is not allowed to step into the Duke's mansion, so we can't let you in. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, the guard shook his head and said softly. Oh, not letting you in? Zhuqing, it seems like this is your father's way of dealing with it. He knows that we're here to break off the engagement. However, it's obvious that if he agrees to break off the engagement, the Star Luo imperial family will be furious. If he doesn't agree to break off the engagement and doesn't let us be together, it'll be a humiliation to the Dragon King Palace. I'll definitely be angry. He doesn't want to see you, which means that he can't be bothered with our affairs. He also acquiesces to the fact that you're following me. So he doesn't want to offend either of us. He's really a wily old fox. Shaking his head, Lu Yuan said faintly. He's such a person. He looks cold and ruthless, but he's a little weak. He likes to be overcautious. He doesn't dare to touch the ancestral law and he doesn't dare to offend the Star Luo imperial family. Your Dragon King Palace is too powerful, so he's afraid that you'll cause trouble for him. So he doesn't want to let us in. This way, he doesn't have to be in a dilemma. Zhu Zhuqing said coldly. That's true. However, he doesn't want to cause trouble, so he doesn't want to let his daughter in. He's really a good father. Well, since I've already planned to use force before using force, I still have to use force. Lu Yuan sighed softly. Ignoring the guard's obstruction, he pulled Zhu Zhuqing and walked into the Duke's mansion. Second miss, please stop. Don't make things difficult for us. If you continue to move forward, don't blame us for offending you. The guards blocked in front of Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing, and the soul power in their bodies began to surge. It's none of your business. Make way. Looking at the guards blocking in front of him, Lu Yuan waved his sleeve casually. Suddenly, a huge force burst out and swept the guards in front of the door to the side. Immediately after, Lu Yuan and the others stepped into the Duke's mansion. Duke, it's not good. Second miss has brought people to fight her way in. In the main hall of the Duke's mansion, the Duke of Netherworld, Zhu Junlin, his wife, and the others were all here. Hearing the guard's words, Zhu Junlin's eyes widened. He grabbed the guard and asked, You said Zhuqing brought people to fight her way in? Yes, Duke. I saw second miss with a young man. They wanted to barge into the mansion. According to your orders, we tried to stop them. However, that young man is too powerful. He just waved his hand casually and beat us into a mess. Now, they are coming here. There are 4 people behind them. The guard's tone was a little panicked. So, they still came? Zhu Junlin pushed the guard away. His expression changed slightly. Originally, he didn't want to let Zhu Zhuqing enter the mansion. This was because no matter what he did, he would definitely offend someone. He would either offend the Sionra Empire or the Dragon King Palace. However, both parties were very powerful. The Star Luo imperial family was the ruler of the Sionra Empire. Needless to say, they were very powerful. On the other hand, the Dragon King Palace had many titled Douluo. They couldn't be provoked. In fact, it was quite difficult for him to be involved. However, this Dragon King Palace master is too overbearing. He actually dares to barge into the Duke's mansion. Thinking of this, Zhu Junlin couldn't help but frown. No matter what, he was still the Duke of the Sionra Empire. Lu Yuan actually didn't give him any face and barged in. If news of this spread, the Netherworld family would lose face. Zhu Junlin also cared about his reputation, okay? Could it be that he wanted others to say that the dignified Duke of Netherworld's mansion was actually attacked by his own daughter? It wouldn't be good if news of this spread. Chapter 761. Junlin, is Zhuqing back? Hearing the conversation between Zhu Junlin and the guard, a beautiful woman standing beside Zhu Junlin couldn't help but ask with a trace of concern. She was Zhu Zhuqing's mother, Lin Xie. She was also the only person in this huge Duke's mansion who still cared about Zhu Zhuqing. Since Zhu Zhuqing left at the age of 9, she hadn't returned for nearly 5 years. Lin Xie missed her very much. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was also her flesh and blood. Yes, not only did she come back, but she also brought the palace master of the Dragon King Palace in. Mph, what a good daughter. She's so bold. Zhu Junlin snorted coldly. He already knew about Lu Yuan's identity. After all, Lu Yuan's identity as the palace master of the Dragon King Palace was exposed in public. Such explosive news had already spread throughout the continent. Basically, all the leaders of the major forces knew about it. It couldn't be helped. The Dragon King Palace was too tyrannical now. Its strength was second only to the martial Soul Palace. When the identity of the palace master of such a superforce was exposed, it was impossible for the leaders of these forces not to pay attention. Originally, he was very angry that Zhu Zhuqing had run away from the marriage and followed another man. Especially when that man had crippled Davis, he was even more furious. After all, Davis was the person who had the best chance of becoming the crown prince. In this way, Zhu Zhuyun would be the crown princess and might even become the empress in the future. Once Zhu Zhuyun became the empress, the status of the Netherworld family would naturally be strengthened. How could he not be angry when Lu Yuan ruined all of this? However, when he knew about Lu Yuan's identity, his anger disappeared. After all, the palace master of the Dragon King Palace wasn't someone he could offend. Moreover, it was actually a good thing for the Zhu family that Zhu Zhuqing could follow him. At the very least, they would be related to the Dragon King Palace. They might even be able to use the name of the Dragon King Palace in the future. Therefore, he acquiesced to Zhu Zhuqing following Lu Yuan. As long as Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing did not come to the Duke of Netherworld's mansion to cause trouble, it would be fine. However, he didn't expect that this time, Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing would come to his door so openly. Moreover, when he didn't allow Zhu Zhuqing to enter, they directly barged in. This made Zhu Junlin a little annoyed. Zhuqing has always been bold. The wild man she's with even dared to cripple Weiss. What's the big deal about breaking in? As soon as Zhu Junlin finished speaking, Zhu Zhuyun's voice rang out. Her words were filled with resentment and jealousy. She resented the fact that Lu Yuan had crippled Davis, causing his status to plummet, and he no longer had any chance of inheriting the throne. As a result, even she had no chance of becoming the crown princess, causing her status to plummet. She was jealous that Zhu Zhuqing could find a man like Lu Yuan, the wife of the Dragon King Palace's lord. This status was not any lower than the empress of a country. Moreover, Lu Yuan loved and protected her so much. This made her even more jealous. Why could Zhu Zhuqing get so much? Not only did she not get the so-called love, but even the rights and status that belonged to her were also destroyed. Therefore, her heart was filled with resentment and anger. Shut up. Who are you to call a wild man? Do you want to bring disaster to our Netherworld family? Upon hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Zhu Junlin raised his hand and slapped Zhu Zhuyun's face. Davis was crippled, and Zhu Zhuyun no longer had the status of the crown princess. Her presence in the Netherworld family was much lower. These aristocratic families were like this. Once you lost your value, you wouldn't be able to enjoy any good treatment. In the past, Zhu Junlin had never slapped Zhu Zhuyun. However, today, he actually raised his hand and slapped her. Not only was there no familial affection in the imperial family, but even the Netherworld family, which had been connected to the imperial family through marriage for generations, was similar. Well done. This woman deserves it. Lu Yuan's clear voice sounded as a group of guards was thrown to the ground. Zhu Junlin turned around and saw a young man in white holding the hand of a young lady in black. They were slowly walking towards him. Behind them were 3 men and a woman. Zhu Junlin recognized the black-clothed girl at a glance. Although he hadn't seen her for 5 years, how could Zhu Junlin not recognize his own daughter? Zhu Junlin's gaze shifted slightly to the young man in white. He saw that the young man's eyebrows were as sharp as swords, and his eyes were as bright as stars. He looked handsome, dignified, and had an extraordinary temperament. Even with his experience, he had to admit that this was the first time he had seen such an outstanding young man. It was no wonder that Zhu Zhuqing liked him. It wasn't just because of his status and strength. His appearance was also a great weapon. After hearing the voice, Zhu Zhuyun couldn't help but turn around. When she saw Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing holding hands, the resentment and jealousy in her heart intensified. Lu Yuan, this is the Duke of Netherworld's mansion. It's not a place you should be. Zhu Zhuyun said sternly as she looked at Lu Yuan. The Duke of Netherworld's mansion? So what? There's no place in this world that I can't go. I can even enter and leave the Star Luo Palace whenever I want. After hearing this, Lu Yuan laughed disdainfully. He looked at Zhu Zhuyun with a mocking smile. However, someone has just been slapped, and now she's acting up again. Oh, right, I forgot to ask. How is Davis? We haven't seen each other for a long time since the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. I do miss him. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Lu Yuan, you crippled Davis, and now you're still pretending. You're really a bastard. Zhu Zhuyun couldn't help but point at Lu Yuan and scold him loudly. Shut up. Zhu Junlin shouted at Zhu Zhuyun and slapped her again. After being slapped again, Zhu Zhuyun immediately stopped talking. She didn't dare to scold him again, but the resentment in her eyes became even more intense. Zhu Junlin retracted his hand and looked at Lu Yuan again. This must be Hallmaster Lu Yuan from the Dragon King Hall. I've heard a lot about you. Oh, my identity has only been announced for a few months, and you've already heard a lot about me. Could it be that you've known my identity for a long time? Lu Yuan snorted and asked with a sneer. After hearing this, Zhu Junlin couldn't help but be stunned. The corner of his mouth twitched. He was just being polite. Could it be that Hallmaster Lu couldn't tell? Furthermore, his attitude doesn't seem to be friendly. He was the one who barged into the Duke of Netherworld's mansion and was in the wrong first. Why am I the one who has to be humble now? Zhu Junlin muttered to himself. Chapter 762. Are they still too weak? That should be the case. Zhu Junlin scanned the four people behind Lu Yuan. He had never heard of Xian Zi and Jing Hongchen, but Long Xiaoyaro and Ma Xiaodao had shown their faces in the Continental Elite Soul Master Tournament. Long Xiaoyaro was an ultimate Douluo, and was very powerful. Many large organizations had their own understanding of the two of them. He quickly recognized Long Xiaoyaro and Ma Xiaodao based on the information that he received. This meant that at least two of the four people behind Lu Yuan were titled Douluo. How could a Soul Douluo like Zhu Junlin not be fearful in the face of such a lineup? In this era, strength was confidence. Even though Lu Yuan had forced his way in, Zhu Junlin still suppressed his anger because of the two titled Douluo behind Lu Yuan. His attitude was very gentle. Seeing that Zhu Junlin didn't say anything, Lu Yuan swept his gaze around. There was a beautiful middle-aged woman beside Zhu Junlin. She had taken good care of herself, and looked like she was in her 30s. Right now, she was looking in their direction. When she looked at Zhu Zhuqing, there was a tinge of excitement and concern in her eyes. When he saw this scene, Lu Yuan's heart skipped a beat. He nodded at this beautiful woman in a friendly manner. If he wasn't wrong, this beautiful woman should be Zhu Zhuqing's mother. She was the only person in the entire Netherworld family who had doted on Zhu Zhuqing. Hua Yuhao naturally had to respect Zhu Zhuqing's mother, who doted on her. When she saw Lu Yuan nod at her, Lin Xie was stunned. After that, she reacted and smiled at Lu Yuan. Her beautiful eyes looked at Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing's tightly clasped hands, and then looked at the passionate affection in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes when she looked at Lu Yuan. She couldn't help but feel a little gratified. It seemed that Zhu Zhuqing had really found a man that she loved and loved her. This was great. Her daughter had finally escaped her fate as a member of the Netherworld family. Furthermore, Lu Yuan was the Hall Master of the Dragon King Hall. He was powerful and influential. Zhu Zhuqing wouldn't have to suffer if she followed him. Lin Xie thought to herself. After nodding at Lin Xie, Lu Yuan continued to look around. Suddenly, a resentful gaze caught his attention. The owner of the gaze was Zhu Zhuyun. After pausing for a moment, Lu Yuan looked away. He couldn't be bothered to pay attention to Zhu Zhuyun now. Without Davis, she was basically useless. He didn't care if she resented him. As long as she didn't come looking for trouble, Lu Yuan wouldn't bother with her since she was Zhu Zhuqing's sister. After looking around, his gaze finally returned to Zhu Junlin's body. What brings Palace Master Lu here today? Moreover, isn't it a little inappropriate for Hall Master Lu to directly barge into my duke's mansion? After being mocked by Lu Yuan, Zhu Junlin suppressed the anger in his heart and looked at Lu Yuan as he asked in a serious tone. However, although he was suppressing his anger, he was not in a good mood, so his tone was inevitably a little stiff. Don't you know why I'm here, Grand Duke Netherworld? Weren't you the one who ordered the guards outside not to let Zhuqing in? Now you're asking me why I barged in? If you didn't let Zhuqing in, would we have barged in? Haha, Grand Duke Netherworld, you're really a good father to not let your own daughter in. Lu Yuan said with a smile. Hearing this, Zhu Junlin fell silent. Looking at the silent Zhu Junlin, Lu Yuan smiled coldly and continued, my purpose for coming here is very simple. Zhu Qing and Dai Mubai have a so-called engagement, right? The first thing is to break off the engagement. Since Dai Mubai is gone now, it shouldn't be difficult to do this. It's just to make the Sionra Empire lose some face. The second thing is to marry. I promised Zhu Qing that I would officially settle our matter in front of her mother. I can't go back on my words, so this time, I'll have to ask Auntie to be a notary for us. Lu Yuan looked at Lin Xie. Hearing this, Lin Xie smiled and was about to nod when Zhu Junlin suddenly glanced at her. She couldn't help but stop. Immediately after, Zhu Junlin's gaze shifted back to Lu Yuan and he stared intently at him. I'm afraid I can't agree to Temple Master Lu's request. I don't object to you and Zhu Qing being together, but breaking off the engagement is not feasible. This will offend the dignity of the Star Luo imperial family. Once I agree, the Star Luo imperial family will definitely cause trouble for the Netherworld family. Temple Master Lu, your Dragon King Palace isn't afraid of the Star Luo imperial family, but we aren't. So, don't mention breaking off the engagement again. Zhu Junlin said seriously. In the end, he still didn't dare to agree to break off the engagement. He was afraid that the Star Luo imperial family would cause trouble for them, but he was also afraid of offending Lu Yuan. So, from the beginning, he said that he didn't object to Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing being together. He still didn't want to offend either side, but it was obvious that Lu Yuan couldn't accept such an outcome. Ah, Grand Duke Netherworld, have you misunderstood something? I wasn't discussing it with you just now. I was just informing you. Whether you agree or not, both the engagement and the marriage have to be completed. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what I'll do. Anyway, Zhu Qing has suffered a lot in this family since she was young. I'm here to avenge her. If you don't agree, I'll have a reason to make a move. Lu Yuan said coldly. After that, he snapped his fingers. As he snapped his fingers, Long Xiaoyao and the other 3 people behind him released their martial souls at the same time. For titled Douluo released their martial souls at the same time. Their powerful auras engulfed the entire place, especially Long Xiaoyao and Xian Zi. One of them was a rank 99 ultimate Douluo, while the other was a rank 98 pinnacle Douluo. When they released their auras, the air seemed to freeze. Their auras bypassed Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing in front of them, and directly pressed down on the other side. Zhu Junlin and the others immediately turned red. They even had difficulty breathing. Furthermore, what shocked him the most was that the 4 of them all had legendary 100,000-year soul rings. Long Xiaoyao even had 2. This caused everyone on Zhu Junlin's side to tremble. How is this possible? Zhu Zhuyun was pressed to the ground. As she looked at the 4 titled Douluo behind Lu Yuan, her eyes were filled with astonishment. How could the Dragon King Hall have so many titled Douluo with 100,000-year soul rings? It was important to know that a titled Douluo with a 100,000-year soul ring was much stronger than an ordinary titled Douluo. If they were of the same rank, it wasn't impossible for them to fight 2 titled Douluo at once. How could the Dragon King Palace be so powerful? Lu Yuan naturally ignored Zhu Zhuyun. In a flash, he grabbed Lin Xie's shoulder and brought her to Zhu Zhuqing's side. After all, she was Zhu Zhuqing's mother, and his mother-in-law. He couldn't let her be suppressed like this. As for the others, it was better to suppress them for a longer time. Chapter 763. Mother. Seeing Lin Xie, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but cry out, her eyes turning red. After 5 years, seeing her mother again, she couldn't help but feel a little emotional. Zhuqing. Lin Xie was brought over by Lu Yuan. Just as she regained her senses, she saw her daughter calling out to her softly with red eyes. She couldn't help but call out to her as well. She hadn't seen Zhu Zhuqing for 5 years, and she missed her dearly. Mother. Zhu Zhuqing called out again, and then threw herself into Lin Xie's arms. Lin Xie also hugged Zhu Zhuqing, and the mother and daughter hugged each other tightly. Zhuqing, are you doing well? After hugging for a while, Lin Xie gently released Zhu Zhuqing and asked in a low voice. I'm doing very well. Lu Yuan loves me a lot, and he dotes on me a lot. I'm living a very happy life now. Zhu Juqing said with a smile with tears in her eyes. It's good that you're living a happy life. Child, why are you crying? Lin Xie said as she raised her hand and gently wiped the tears from the corner of Zhu Juqing's eyes. Mother, I'm happy. I'm really happy to see you again. Zhu Juqing said softly. Silly child, Mother is also very happy to see you. Looking at Zhu Juqing's appearance, Lin Xie's eyes flashed with a doting light, and she gently rubbed Zhu Juqing's head. Zhu Juqing's charming face was full of smiles, and she enjoyed Lin Xie's closeness. She hadn't experienced this kind of motherly love for a long time. On the other side, Lu Yuan smiled as he watched this scene of deep affection between mother and daughter. This was the first time he saw Zhu Juqing like this. It seemed that Zhu Juqing was really attached to her mother. But thinking about it, Zhu Juqing grew up in this duke's mansion, which was devoid of human emotions. Aside from her mother's love for her, the rest was ruthless and cold. Under such circumstances, she would naturally remember the only mother who loved her deeply in her heart. It must have been hard on Zhu Qing. She was born into such a family, yet she still has such a kind heart. It's really commendable, Lu Yuan muttered. Thinking of the first time he met Zhu Juqing, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. At that time, Zhu Juqing was almost exhausted from being chased by the blood-winged golden mosquitoes, but when she met him, she still didn't choose to lead the blood-winged golden mosquitoes in his direction. It was also because of her kindness that Lu Yuan chose to help. Of course, Lu Yuan would not deny that her beauty was also a very important factor. However, the main reason was her kindness. If it was someone else who chose to cause trouble, no matter how beautiful she was, Lu Yuan would have sent her on her way. He would never show mercy to those who schemed against him. After taking another look at the two of them, Lu Yuan turned around slightly and looked at the other side. Zhu Junlin and the others couldn't withstand the pressure of the four titled Douluo's auras, especially Long Xiaoyao's and Xian Zi's frightening auras. Some of them were kneeling, while others were prostrating. Even Zhu Junlin, who was a sole Douluo, was already kneeling on one knee. This was the result of Long Xiaoyao and Xian Zi being merciful. Otherwise, even an ordinary titled Douluo would have to kneel if they unleashed their full auras. Even a sole Douluo could only prostrate. After all, no matter how bad Zhu Junlin was, he was still Zhu Juqing's father. It was a little inappropriate for him to prostrate on the ground. Although Zhu Junlin wasn't much, they still had to give face to Zhu Juqing. Lu Yuan placed his hands behind his back and took light steps forward. He walked in front of Zhu Junlin and looked down at him. His abilities were already comparable to a transcendent Douluo. Long Xiaoyao and Xian Zi's auras bypassed him. Even if they didn't, he would still be able to move freely when they didn't unleash their full auras. How is it, Grand Duke of the Netherworld? Have you made your decision? Do you agree to the two things that I've mentioned? You have to think carefully. If you agree and anger the Star Luo royal family, you'll only be punished by Dai Tianfeng, but you won't be hurt. This is because your two families have been connected by marriage for generations, and you have the Netherworld White Tiger's martial soul fusion skill. The White Tiger family can't do without you. Therefore, even if you want to cause trouble, it's just a small matter. However, I'm different. If you offend the Dragon King Palace, you'll die right now. If I'm in a bad mood, your Netherworld Duke's mansion might be razed to the ground today. The entire Netherworld family might become history. Oh, yes, don't expect Zhu Qing to plead for you. I'm sure you know how you've treated her. The only person she cares about is Auntie. After all of you are dead, I can bring Auntie to the Dragon King Palace to enjoy life. Zhu Qing can also spend time with her every day. Thinking about it this way, it's not a bad idea. Lu Yuan lifted his right hand and rubbed his chin. He seemed to be deep in thought as he spoke. Zhu Junlin was speechless. However, on account of the fact that all of you are related to Zhu Qing, I'm willing to give you 3 minutes to think about it even though I'm tempted by your idea just now. Do as you see fit. Whether the Zhu family lives or dies depends on your decision. Lu Yuan said coldly as he stared at Zhu Junlin. 3 minutes later, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sigh when he saw Zhu Junlin's hesitant and conflicted expression. Sigh, it seems like you won't agree to it no matter what. Forget it. Elder Long, Elder Xian, prepare to act. Be careful when you kill them. Don't make it too bloody. Lu Yuan waved his hand and turned to leave as he spoke. Yes, my lord. After Lu Yuan finished speaking, Long Xiaoyaro and Zhu Junlin's aura soared. A formless killing intent was released from their bodies. It was this killing intent that made Zhu Junlin's hair stand on end. He didn't expect Lu Yuan to be telling the truth. He was really going to kill them. Zhu Qing, Lu Yuan isn't really going to do it, is he? Lin Xie was also anxious. She originally thought that Lu Yuan was only joking and was only trying to scare Zhu Junlin. However, it seemed like he was really going to kill them now. He really wanted to raze the Zhu family to the ground. Mother, don't worry. Abuchi knows what he's doing. Zhu Juqing said softly to Lin Xie. She wasn't worried about Lu Yuan's current actions. That was because Lu Yuan had promised her that he wouldn't kill them. She believed that Lu Yuan would keep his promise. That was because Lu Yuan was very reliable in other areas, except when it came to matters related to women. He had never gone back on his word. Furthermore, Lu Yuan had said that he wanted to use force before he entered the house. This should be the case now. Chapter 764. He wants to force the Zhu family into a corner. Only then will they agree to these two things obediently. Otherwise, they will always think that they're lucky. Furthermore, Lu Yuan said that he wants to avenge me. This should be part of the reason why he's doing this. Zhu Juqing thought to herself. Zhu Juqing had to admit that she understood Lu Yuan very well. After all, from Shrek Academy, to the Dragon King Palace, and then to the Martial Soul Hall, it could be said that wherever Lu Yuan went, he would bring Zhu Juqing along. Zhu Juqing had accompanied him for the longest time among all the ladies, if Hulena and Lu Yuan didn't share a bed for 3 years. It was also because of this that Zhu Juqing knew a thing or two about Lu Yuan's way of doing things. For example, this time, she could tell that Lu Yuan was trying to do this. Really? I don't think he's joking. This killing intent can't be faked. Lin Xie exclaimed. If I don't make it more realistic, how will father and the rest believe me? Zhu Juqing said softly. That's true. Your father is very suspicious and indecisive. It's difficult to make him make a decision without forcing him into a corner. Lin Xie nodded when she heard this. She was very clear about what kind of person her husband was. If Lu Yuan didn't make it more realistic, he really wouldn't believe him. Lin Xie was slightly relieved when she heard this. It was fine as long as he didn't really raze the Duke of Netherworld's mansion to the ground. Zhu Qing had indeed suffered a lot. This so-called ancestral rule had also caused the women of the Netherworld family to suffer. Every generation of them had to kill each other. Now that Lu Yuan wanted to avenge Zhu Juqing, let him do it. Even she hated this so-called rule. After all, no mother was willing to see her daughters kill each other. How could she feel good after seeing Zhu Zhuyun assassinate Zhu Juqing so many times? Her suffering was not any less than Zhu Juqing's. On the other side, Lu Yuan turned around and was about to leave after he finished speaking. Long Xiaoyaro and Xian Zi's eyes flickered with cold killing intent behind his back. It seemed like they would start a massacre once Lu Yuan left. That terrifying killing intent caused Zhu Junlin to feel as though he had fallen into an ice cave, and his entire body turned ice-cold. Zhu Junlin looked at Zhu Juqing, who was not far away. She had a calm expression and was chatting with Lin Xie, as if she really did not care about the life and death of the entire Duke of Netherworld's mansion. Zhu Junlin sighed. This time, he had really given up. In order to prevent the Duke's mansion from being destroyed, I don't care if I offend the Star Luo imperial family. My life is the most important thing right now. Take care, Palace Master Lu. Seeing that Lu Yuan was about to turn around and leave, the two murderers behind him were ready to kill. Zhu Junlin hurriedly called out to Lu Yuan. However, Lu Yuan did not pay any attention to him. Instead, he continued to turn around and walk forward. Palace Master Lu, I agree to your 2 requests. Seeing that Lu Yuan did not seem to care about his words, Zhu Junlin couldn't help but shout again. This time, Lu Yuan stopped in his tracks. He turned around and looked at Zhu Junlin. He asked, Duke of Netherworld, what did you say just now? I didn't hear you clearly. Seeing that Lu Yuan had finally turned around, Zhu Junlin heaved a sigh of relief. He was under the threat of death right now, so he couldn't care too much. When he heard Lu Yuan's question, he hurriedly answered, I said, I agree to both of your requests. He seemed to be worried that Lu Yuan still couldn't hear him clearly, so he deliberately raised his voice. Why did you agree again? I was planning to wipe this place clean. Lu Yuan blinked his eyes and said with a regretful expression. It was as if Zhu Junlin agreeing to his request and not killing anyone was a very regretful thing. Zhu Junlin's mouth twitched when he heard that. He cursed in his heart, this murderous god. However, although he cursed in his heart, he did not show it at all on the surface. He was afraid that Lu Yuan would suddenly have a screw loose and want to kill people again. So be it. Sigh, you're lucky. Speaking of which, I really haven't killed anyone in a long time. Lu Yuan smacked his lips as if he missed the fact that he hadn't killed anyone in a long time. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing, who was not far away, couldn't help but secretly laugh. This bad guy, one set after another. He wanted to completely bury his bloodthirsty image in Zhu Junlin's heart, so as to better intimidate Zhu Junlin. As expected, Zhu Junlin's eyelids twitched when he heard Lu Yuan's words. He looked at Lu Yuan with a gaze that was filled with fear once again. Lu Yuan paused for a moment, and then he looked at Zhu Junlin once more and said, Since Grand Duke Netherhell has agreed to these two things, then when do you intend to start? Feeling Lu Yuan's burning gaze, Zhu Junlin hurriedly said, I'll do it today. I'll immediately send someone to announce the annulment of the engagement to the Star Luo royal family. At the same time, I'll spread the news of the annulment and let the entire Sionra Empire know. At the same time, Xie and I will be witnesses for the marriage between Palace Master Lu and Zhuqing so that you can settle the marriage. Of course, I will also announce this matter to the public. What do you think, Hallmaster Lu? It sounds pretty good, but I didn't force you to do this. You should know how to tell others, right? Lu Yuan's eyes flickered as he asked. Hallmaster Lu didn't force me. I did all of this voluntarily. I saw that Zhuqing and Hallmaster Lu were too compatible, so I took the initiative to suggest it. Zhu Junlin spoke against his will. In order to save his life, he was really going all out. He didn't even blink when he spoke lies. Haha, not bad. You're really considerate, Hallmaster Nether. How could I be someone who coerces others? I'm a person who likes to convince people with reason the most. I've never done things like coercing others. Lu Yuan said with a smile. That's right, that's right. Zhu Junlin nodded as he madly complained in his heart. You're indeed convincing people with reason. It's just that you're holding a knife to their necks. Others use their mouths to reason, but you're directly using your knife to reason. This guy is still so shameless. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but smile when she heard Lu Yuan's words. He was clearly forcing others to agree, and if they didn't agree, they would die. In the end, he still had the face to say that he was convincing people with reason. In the entire world, she had only seen Lu Yuan with such thick skin. Moreover, her father was the same. In order to survive, he was really willing to say anything. Hallmaster Nether was really something. Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but sneer in her heart. Chapter 765. Just as Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing had expected before they came, Zhu Junlin was a cruel and heartless person, but he had a weak personality. Once he was pressured, his first reaction was to give in. Under the pressure of the four-titled Douluo behind Lu Yuan, his only choice was to agree to break off the engagement. One option was that he would be punished by the Star Luo royal family in the future, but it wouldn't be fatal. On the other hand, the Netherworld family would be massacred by the four-titled Douluo, and the entire Netherworld family would be uprooted. Even a strong-willed person would choose to give in as long as they weren't brain-damaged, let alone someone like Zhu Junlin, who was facing such a situation. Even though Zhu Junlin's actions were a little too submissive, this was the rule of this world. The strong were respected, and the weak didn't have the right to speak. The strong preyed on the weak. Although Zhu Zhuqing looked down on her father's change of attitude, she couldn't blame him. Zhu Junlin wasn't just doing this for his own life. He was doing this for the sake of the entire Netherworld family. His choice wasn't wrong. After all, Zhu Juqing knew that Lu Yuan was only trying to scare them, but Zhu Junlin didn't know that. After hearing Zhu Junlin's words, Lu Yuan turned around and gave Zhu Juqing a look. A smile flashed across his eyes. Zhu Juqing also smiled and nodded gently at Lu Yuan. No matter what, at this point, they had finally achieved the purpose of their visit. Furthermore, Lu Yuan had helped her suppress the entire Netherworld Duke's mansion. The gloominess in Zhu Juqing's heart had completely disappeared. Even though her childhood memories were cold and unpleasant, she was very happy right now. At least there was someone who was willing to pamper her and love her. When someone bullied her, he would stand up for her. When she was in trouble, he would help her resolve it. With him around, everything in her life was colorful. "It's good to have met you," Zhu Juqing muttered softly as she stared at Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan smiled at Zhu Juqing and snapped his fingers once again. Long Xiaoyaro and the others immediately retracted their auras and withdrew their martial souls. The four withdrew their auras, and the invisible pressure that was suppressing Zhu Junlin and the others finally dissipated. The pressure suddenly dissipated. Zhu Junlin's body first trembled, then slowly returned to normal and stood up from the ground. Looking at Lu Yuan in front of him, he couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. In his heart, in just a short while, their entire Duke Netherworld's mansion had taken a trip to the edge of life and death. His heart was truly extremely complicated. He was the Grand Duke of the Sionra Empire, one of the three great clans. His status was only second to the Star Luo Empire's imperial family, and his status was extremely illustrious. But what was the use? In the hands of a true expert, one was still as powerless as grass. If the other party wanted to kill you, you could only stretch out your neck and wait to be killed. You didn't even have the ability to resist. So what if he was the emperor of a country? He still had to be polite to the Pope of the Martial Soul Palace. This was the importance of strength. While authority and status were important, the most important thing was still strength. Wasn't Lu Yuan in front of him the same? He had so many titled Douluo under him, and he could kill anyone he wanted without any scruples. This was the confidence that came with strength. Grand Duke of the Netherworld, don't forget what you said. Let's begin now. Lu Yuan turned to Zhu Junlin and said plainly, "Don't worry, Hallmaster Lu. I'll naturally do what I said. I'll immediately write a letter and send it to the Star Luo Empire's imperial family to unilaterally cancel the engagement." Zhu Junlin said. After being frightened by Lu Yuan, he had already learned to be obedient. Furthermore, in his heart, Lu Yuan was a killing god. Once he lost his temper, he would kill. Since he couldn't afford to offend him, he could only give in. "You're the boss. You're the best. Very good. Since we're cancelling the engagement today, let's postpone it to tomorrow. I'm not in a hurry." Lu Yuan smiled and said softly. Hearing this, the corner of Zhu Junlin's mouth twitched. Cancelling the engagement today, and marrying tomorrow. How was he not in a hurry? However, he didn't dare to refute Lu Yuan's words. He could only nod and agree. "All right, then that's all for today. Juqing and I will go back first. We'll come again tomorrow." Lu Yuan smiled and said. "Come again tomorrow? Hallmaster Lu, since you and Juqing are getting married tomorrow, why don't you stay in the Duke's mansion today? It'll save you the trouble of running around." After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Lin Xie immediately said. After speaking, she glanced at Zhu Junlin. Although Zhu Junlin was unwilling, his wife had already spoken. He could only brace himself and greet them. He didn't dare to chase them away now. Hearing this, Lu Yuan hesitated slightly and didn't say anything. Seeing Lu Yuan's hesitation, Lin Xie added, "Hallmaster Lu, Zhu Qing and I haven't seen each other for a long time. Why don't you stay so that I can talk to Zhu Qing for a while?" This. Hearing Lin Xie's words, Lu Yuan glanced at Zhu Juqing. Seeing her expectant eyes, Lu Yuan sighed and nodded. "Then I'll have to trouble Auntie." "No trouble at all," Lin Xie said softly with a smile on her face. "Zhu Qing, is this your room back then?" Lu Yuan asked softly as he looked at the tidy room in front of him. Yes. After I left home, I haven't been back for 5 years. I didn't expect this place to be so clean. I think Mother must have ordered people to clean it often. Zhu Zhuqing said. Auntie's care for you is not fake. Thinking of how Lin Xie looked at Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Yes, Mother loves me very much. When I was young, she was the only one who loved me. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but nod and say softly. Now, she's not the only one who loves you. There's also me. I'll love you very much too. Lu Yuan said softly as he gently held Zhu Zhuqing's waist. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing smiled sweetly and leaned into Lu Yuan's embrace. She was very happy to finally see her mother today. Moreover, after Lu Yuan helped her vent her anger, the gloom in her heart had completely dissipated. Moreover, her engagement with Dai Mubai had also completely disappeared today. At this moment, she was unprecedentedly relaxed and had broken free from all restraints. Today, she often had a smile on her face. Her original coldness had disappeared. Without that coldness, Zhu Zhuqing was actually exceptionally obedient and cute. Especially the smile on her face, it was so sweet that it reached Lu Yuan's heart. This kind of Zhu Zhuqing was really lovable. Chapter 766. Zhuqing, what kind of person do you think Auntie is? Lu Yuan softly asked as he gently hugged Zhu Zhuqing. Mother. She's a very nice person. She's kind-hearted, amiable, considerate, and reasonable. Stop. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's string of adjectives, Lu Yuan quickly shouted to stop. What's wrong, Abuchi? Am I wrong? Seeing Lu Yuan shout to stop, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with some dissatisfaction. Her mother was such a good person. Could it be that Lu Yuan had a different opinion? Seeing the dissatisfaction on Zhu Zhuqing's face, Lu Yuan bitterly smiled. It seemed that Lin Xie was really a perfect person in Zhu Zhuqing's heart. Abuchi, what are you bitterly smiling for? Answer me. Is there anything wrong with what I said? Do you not agree? Zhu Zhuqing asked. No, I agree. Auntie is indeed a very good person. I don't know about others, but she is definitely very good to you. I think your personality might be partly influenced by Auntie, right? Zhuqing, Lu Yuan softly asked. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing nodded. Her cold appearance was formed from staying in a dark environment since she was young, but her kindness and stubbornness were learned from Lin Xie. After all, Lin Xie was her mother and the only person who loved her since she was young. Naturally, she would unconsciously rely on Lin Xie and imitate and learn Lin Xie's characteristics. Over time, she developed her unique personality. But since you agree, why did you interrupt me just now? Looking at Lu Yuan, Zhu Zhuqing was somewhat puzzled. Lu Yuan smiled and said, I interrupted you not because I think Auntie is not a good person, but because I want to talk about something else. What is it? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Zhuqing, don't you think Auntie is actually a very smart woman? She is much more intelligent than your father, Lu Yuan gently said. Why do you say that? There was a trace of doubt in Zhu Zhuqing's eyes. Why did Lu Yuan suddenly say that? Oh, it seems like you still haven't realized it. Fine, I'll explain it to you slowly. Lu Yuan said slowly as he held Zhu Zhuqing. Xie, why didn't you make that brat Lu Yuan stay today? Do you know that my scalp goes numb whenever I see him? That brat is a true god of death. Zhu Junlin looked at Lin Xie in a room in the Duke's mansion. His eyes were full of doubt, as if he did not understand why Lin Xie would do such a thing. Look at you. You're scared to this extent. Lin Xie drank her tea and couldn't help but glare at Zhu Junlin. There was a trace of mockery in her tone. Scared by someone? Xie, I almost lost my life today. You don't know how terrifying the auras of those two titled Douluo were, and how intense their killing intent was. How could I not be afraid? This brat really dared to kill. He didn't look like he was lying. Zhu Junlin immediately retorted after hearing Lin Xie's words. He was just scaring you. With Zhuqing around, He couldn't do anything to you no matter what. However, this brat's acting was indeed very realistic. I was a little shocked at that time. It's no wonder you were deceived. Lin Xie said. What? You're saying that he was deceiving me? That he was deliberately scaring me? Then why didn't you say it during the day? Zhu Junlin questioned. What's the point of saying it? Lu Yuan has made up his mind to break off the engagement. No matter how much you struggle, you have to accept it in the end. That's because the Dragon King's palace is strong, and our Duke's mansion is weak. Furthermore, he really likes Zhuqing, and Zhuqing likes him too. Zhuqing can at least find her own happiness if she follows him. Lin Xie said plainly. You're right. Hearing this, Zhu Junlin sighed softly. If Lu Yuan wanted to break off the engagement, with the powerful force behind him, even if they didn't agree now, they would agree one day. There was no room for rejection. Then why did you keep him? Zhu Junlin asked again. Stupid. Since you've already agreed to break off the engagement, why don't you seize the opportunity to build a good relationship with your future son-in-law? This is the Dragon King's palace. It's a Soul Master force on the continent that's second only to the Martial Soul Palace. They have at least 6 titled Douluo, and there's even an ultimate Douluo like the Dragon Emperor Douluo. With the help of the Dragon King's palace, won't our Zhu family's reputation be greatly boosted? We're already one of the 3 great families of the Star Luo Empire. We have great political and military power. However, we don't have much status in the world of Soul Masters. Now that we've become in-laws with the Dragon King's palace, we'll have the opportunity to increase our influence in the world of Soul Masters. Other things aside, with the support of the Dragon King's palace, who in the Sionra Empire will dare to provoke our Zhu family? Other things aside, let's just talk about the other 2 great families. Will they dare to be enemies with our Zhu family? Of course not. But what about the imperial family of the Star Luo Empire? Zhu Junlin was still a little worried. We don't have to worry about the imperial family of the Star Luo Empire. Look at Lu Yuan's extravagance. He brought 4 powerful titled Douluo with him. Do you think he's just pressuring you? Lin Xie rolled her eyes at Zhu Junlin. Her tone was indifferent. Are you saying that Lu Yuan is already prepared to deal with the imperial family of the Star Luo Empire? Zhu Junlin was a little surprised. Of course. According to my observations today, this kid is an extremely smart person. He likes to plan before acting. He must have made sufficient preparations. The imperial family of the Star Luo Empire can't do anything to him. Once the imperial family of the Star Luo Empire suffers, they'll naturally be obedient. Furthermore, just as Lu Yuan said, the imperial family of the Star Luo Empire won't do anything to us because of the Netherworld White Tiger. They can't leave us at all. At most, they'll criticize us and punish us casually. Such insignificant punishments can be exchanged for a connection with the Dragon King Hall. Do you think it's worth it? Lin Xie asked. Of course it's worth it, Zhu Junlin said. So, this is one of the reasons why I let him stay. It's to build a better relationship with Lu Yuan. Let's not talk about other things. At least let him call you father-in-law. Lin Xie said. Call me father-in-law? I'm afraid that's a little difficult. That kid's attitude towards me is very bad, Zhu Junlin said. You asked for this. Who asked you to ignore Zhuqing in the past and let her suffer? The Netherworld family's damned ancestral law is simply bullshit. It caused my 2 daughters to kill each other. As a mother, I'm also very tormented. I can only watch helplessly. Chapter 767. Lin Xie cursed in a low voice. Hearing this, Zhu Junlin fell silent. This ancestral method had been passed down for thousands of years and was deeply rooted. Even he could not change it. If he wanted to change this, he would have to change the inheritance method of the Star Luo imperial family. It was because of the marriage alliance that the Netherworld family had this rule. In the Star Luo imperial family, if the princes wanted to ascend to the throne, they had to step on the bones of their brothers. Similarly, this relationship also affected the Netherworld family that they were connected to through marriage. For example, Zhu Zhuyun and Zhu Zhuqing. Did Zhu Zhuyun really want to kill Zhu Zhuqing for no reason? In fact, she didn't. She was eliminating her own threat. Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai were engaged, and Dai Mubai was Davis's competitor. Therefore, Zhu Zhuyun acted. If it weren't for this relationship, Zhu Zhuyun wouldn't be so crazy as to make a move on her own sister. After all, there was no such thing as love or hatred for no reason in this world. As long as it was a normal person, no one would kill someone who had no enmity with them for no reason, let alone assassinate their own sister for no reason. Zhu Zhuyun did all this for the sake of survival and power. This was a product of this abnormal inheritance system. After a moment of silence, Zhu Junlin recalled Lin Xie's words and couldn't help but ask, "Then what's the other reason you left them behind?" "The other reason is as I said. Zhuqing and I haven't seen each other for more than 5 years. I really miss her and want to get closer to her. Otherwise, with Lu Yuan's shrewdness, do you think I can fool him if I tell a lie? I'm just revealing my true feelings," Lin Xie said softly. Hearing Lin Xie's words, Zhu Junlin once again became silent. Although he was ruthless, it did not mean that he did not have any feelings for Zhu Zhuqing. After all, Zhu Zhuqing was his daughter. There was some affection, even though it was not very strong. If you want to ride on the coattails of the Dragon King Palace, then treat Zhuqing better. Lu Yuan loves Zhuqing very much. If you treat Zhuqing well, it will be more useful than if you flatter him. Moreover, the engagement banquet should be more lively and grand. Invite more people. Presumably, there will be a lot of people who know the Lord of the Dragon King Palace. After all, the imperial family of Star Luo will not make things difficult for the guests. Dai Tianfeng is not a fool. Lin Xie said. What you said makes sense. I will arrange it. Hearing Lin Xie's words, Zhu Junlin nodded and said, "What about that girl, Zhuyun? What should we do? That girl hates Lu Yuan to the bone. After all, Lu Yuan crippled Davis. She doesn't get along with Lu Yuan and Zhuqing. Since we want to mend our relationship with Lu Yuan, why don't we let Zhuyun leave the mansion and stay with Davis for a while?" Zhu Junlin casually suggested. "You still want to send Zhuyun to Davis? Don't you know that Davis is already crippled? Do you want Zhuyun to follow a useless person for the rest of her life?" Hearing Zhu Junlin's words, Lin Xie could not help but question. "Then what should we do? Zhuyun has angered Lu Yuan. If she stays in the Duke's mansion, I'm afraid it will be a bad influence." Zhu Junlin said. "I will deal with this. I will take Zhuyun to apologize to Zhuqing. As long as Zhuqing nods her head and forgives her, Lu Yuan will naturally not pursue it. Zhuqing is a kind child. As long as Zhuyun apologizes, Zhuqing will easily forgive her," Lin Xie said. "But do you think Zhuyun will be willing to apologize?" Zhu Junlin asked. "She has to be willing even if she doesn't want to. I am doing this for her own good," Lin Xie said faintly. "Is my mother really as scheming as you said?" Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with faint doubt in her big eyes. According to Lu Yuan's words, he suspected that her father would listen to her mother's opinion when facing major issues. This really surprised her. Was her mother that powerful? "Of course, I won't be wrong. Your mother is actually a strong woman. Your father really has to listen to her on some matters. She is very opinionated. Today, when she heard that I wanted her to witness our marriage, her eyes were full of joy and excitement. She was not just happy for you, but also excited for the relationship between the Zhu family and our Dragon King Palace. After all, if you only married me in private, you wouldn't have much to do with the Zhu family, and the Zhu family wouldn't be able to get along with me. But once she witnesses our marriage, the relationship between our Dragon King Palace and the Zhu family will be inseparable. Of course, this is not a bad thing. If we unite, it will be beneficial for both sides. With the help of our Dragon King Palace, the Zhu family's prestige and status will rise. At the same time, if we establish a relationship with the Zhu family, it will be beneficial for our martial Soul Palace to unify Star Luo in the future. At the very least, it will be much easier to conquer Star Luo with someone working from the inside," Lu Yuan said with a chuckle. "That's true, but I still feel uncomfortable," Zhu Zhuqing said. You think that your mother is not only concerned about you, but also mixed in a conflict of interest. That's why you feel bad, right? Lu Yuan asked. Hearing this, Zhu Juqing nodded. Silly girl, you are really simple. I always thought that Rong Rong was simple, but I didn't expect you to be so simple in the aspect of emotions. The adult world is not so simple. Of course, feelings are not fake, but interests are more important. For two forces, friendship alone is not enough to maintain a good relationship for a long time. Interests are the key. Only when both sides cooperate and can generate enough interests, the relationship will be more solid and reliable. Of course, you don't have to worry about these things. I'll take care of it. You just have to be responsible for reminiscing with Auntie. No matter what, her motherly love for you is real. That's enough. Lu Yuan said in a low voice as he stroked Zhu Juqing's long hair. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Juqing tilted her head and thought for a while, then nodded. Indeed, as Lu Yuan said, no matter whether her mother had other plans or not, as long as her motherly love for her was real and harmless to Lu Yuan, that was enough. Why should she think so much? There was no need at all. Looking at Zhu Juqing's appearance, Lu Yuan smiled slightly. He knew that she had already thought it through. In fact, just as he said, he didn't dislike Lin Xie's actions. She might have some ideas, but her concern for Zhu Juqing couldn't be faked. This was also the reason why Lu Yuan was willing to stay. Otherwise, Lu Yuan was prepared to break off the engagement, get married, and then directly leave after dealing with the Star Luo royal family. As for what would happen to the Zhu family, he didn't care at all. Chapter 768. After all, Lu Yuan had no intention of joining forces with the Zhu family from the very beginning. Although the Zhu family was one of the three great families in the Star Luo Empire, they didn't have any truly powerful individuals. In fact, Lu Yuan didn't think much of them. But now, since the Zhu family had already agreed to cancel the engagement, and Lin Xie was also sincere towards Zhu Juqing, truly doting on this daughter of hers, then it wasn't necessarily impossible to ally with the Zhu family. There weren't many powerful individuals in the Zhu family, and even Zhu Junlin was only a rank 85 Soul Douluo. Even Lu Yuan could easily beat him up, not to mention others. However, the Netherworld family was one of the three great families in the Sionra Empire. They still had some political and military power. Normally, the Zhu family wouldn't be able to help Lu Yuan. However, when the war started and he attacked the Sionra Empire, the Zhu family would be a very good spy. With their help, conquering the Sionra Empire would be a lot easier. As for the marriage alliance between the Zhu family and the Star Luo Empire, they wouldn't be spies. However, compared to this so-called marriage alliance, it was obvious that the Zhu family's own interests were much more important. When Lu Yuan attacked the Sionra Empire, the Heaven Do Empire would have been conquered. Lu Yuan's identity would have been exposed. With the Heaven Do Empire, the Martial Soul Palace, and the Dragon King Palace, it was only a matter of time before they wiped out the Sionra Empire. Under such circumstances, wouldn't the Zhu family, who were related to Lu Yuan by marriage, find another way out and accompany the Sionra Empire to their deaths? That was impossible. With Zhu Junlin's weak personality and Lin Xie's intelligence, they would contact Lu Yuan immediately. This would ensure that they would be able to maintain their lofty status after the Sionra Empire was destroyed. This was the rule of survival for these elite families. Their own interests were always the top priority. Therefore, Lu Yuan was never worried about these problems. As he gently stroked Zhu Juqing's soft hair, Lu Yuan's eyes flashed. Dong, dong, dong. At about noon, there was a knock on the door, waking up Lu Yuan and Zhu Juqing, who were hugging each other and enjoying the peaceful time. Someone is knocking on the door. Looking at Lu Yuan, Zhu Juqing said softly. It should be Auntie, Lu Yuan said with a smile. At this time, other than Lin Xie, there shouldn't be anyone else. After all, Zhu Junlin probably still didn't dare to meet him face to face, even if he already knew that Lu Yuan was just scaring him in the morning. Then I'll go open the door. Hearing Lu Yuan say that Lin Xie had come, Zhu Juqing's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise and she quickly said, Go ahead, Lu Yuan said gently before letting go of Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing quickly ran to the door and opened it. Mother. Seeing Lin Xie, Zhu Zhuqing called out affectionately. Zhuqing, Lin Xie called out. Her gaze shifted behind Zhu Zhuqing, where Lu Yuan was slowly walking over. Auntie. Lu Yuan greeted. Hall Master Lu, Lin Xie called out. Auntie must have something to say. Zhuqing, why don't you invite Auntie in? Lu Yuan said indifferently. Oh, right. Mother, come in if you have something to say, Zhu Zhuqing said with a smile. All right, then I'll have to trouble you. Lin Xie smiled and walked into the room. Inside the room, Lu Yuan and the other two sat around a round table with some tea on it. After the three of them sat down, Zhu Zhuqing took the initiative to pour a cup of tea for the two of them. Only then did she stop and look at Lin Xie with her beautiful eyes. Auntie, if you have something to say, just say it. You don't have to be polite with us, Lu Yuan said with a smile. Hall Master Lu, there is indeed something I want to discuss with you, Lin Xie said. Don't call me Hall Master Lu. Just call me Abuchi. After all, you're Zhuqing's mother and my elder. There's no need to be so formal. As for the matter, just say it. I'm listening, Lu Yuan said. That's right. Mother, just call him Abuchi. You don't have to call him Hall Master Lu. He's actually quite easy to get along with, Zhu Zhuqing added. All right then. Lin Xie smiled at the two of them and said, Zhuqing, Abuchi, Junlin and I have discussed it. We want to hold the marriage ceremony 3 days from now. If we do it tomorrow, it will be a little too rushed. If we have 3 days to prepare, we can hold it even grander and livelier. What do you think? Zhu Zhuqing blinked her eyes and looked at Lu Yuan with a sliver of anticipation in her eyes. How could Lu Yuan not know what Zhu Zhuqing was thinking when he saw the anticipation in her eyes? However, it made sense. Which girl wouldn't want to hold something as grand as a marriage ceremony? No matter how considerate and sensible Zhu Zhuqing was, she was still a girl in the end. All right, we'll do as Auntie says. I have no objections, Lu Yuan gently smiled. That's good, Lin Xie smiled and said gently. Auntie, is there anything else apart from the marriage ceremony? Lu Yuan continued to ask Lin Xie. There really is something else. It's about Zhuyun. Zhuyun? Lu Yuan could not help but frown when he heard her name. Lu Yuan did not have a good impression of this woman who had tried to assassinate Zhu Zhuqing multiple times. If it were not for Zhu Zhuqing's pleading, he would have crippled her long ago. Would she still be alive? What does she want? Lu Yuan asked indifferently. His tone was not very pleasant. Lin Xie sighed when she heard Lu Yuan's words and said, I know that the two of you do not like Zhuyun because she has persecuted Zhuqing many times. However, Zhuyun is also a person with a hard life. She had no choice. You know the rules of the Star Luo imperial family and the Netherworld family. Zhuyun did that for the sake of survival. Furthermore, now that Davis has been crippled, Zhuyun no longer has the chance to be the crown princess. Zhuqing is also with you. In fact, there is no conflict of interest between Zhuyun and Zhuqing. She can no longer threaten the two of you. So, can the two of you be magnanimous and let Zhuyun off? There was a hint of pleading in Lin Xie's tone. Her concern for Zhuyun could not be faked. Lin Xie truly loved her daughter. Not only did she love Zhu Zhuqing, but she also loved Zhuyun. Zhu Zhuqing's heart immediately softened when she saw Lin Xie's expression. She was a kind person to begin with. Furthermore, the person who was pleading was her mother, her dearest mother. Therefore, Zhu Zhuqing could not refuse such a request. Chapter 769. Abuchi. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan with a hint of pleading in her eyes. You're so soft-hearted. Looking at Zhu Zhuqing, how could Lu Yuan not know what she wanted to say? He sighed softly and said helplessly, no matter what, she's still my sister. Since she's no longer a threat to us, why should we make things difficult for her? Zhu Zhuqing said softly, you're so soft-hearted. Sooner or later, you'll suffer a great loss. Lu Yuan shook his head and said, don't I still have you? You'll protect me, won't you? Zhu Juqing said with a smile. Of course. Lu Yuan said firmly. Then you agree? Zhu Juqing said with some surprise. Since you've said it like this, how can I not agree? Lu Yuan said as he spread his hands. I knew you were the best. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Juqing's face immediately lit up with joy, and her face was full of smiles. Mother, we agree to what you said. We won't make trouble for sister. To be honest, you don't have to tell us about this. You know my personality. I won't do anything to sister. As for Abuchi, he looks overbearing, but he's not the kind of person who haggles over minor matters. Since he spared sister when he crippled Davis, then as long as sister doesn't jump in front of him to court death, he won't care about sister. He's a proud person. He won't lower himself to deal with a woman. Looking at Lin Xie, Zhu Juqing said sincerely. Hearing this, Lu Yuan was speechless. This Juqing is really straightforward. She just said everything. Can't you hide something a little? Can't you let your mother appreciate your kindness? Wouldn't it be better to let her think that you let Zhu Zhuyun off just now because of her and your sisterly relationship? Now that you've said that you've already planned to let Zhu Zhuyun go, will Lin Xie still be grateful to you? Sigh. The originally intelligent Zhu Juqing really couldn't hide anything when she met Lin Xie. He was just like a child, without any of his usual shrewdness and wisdom. However, thinking that Lin Xie was Zhu Juqing's mother, Lu Yuan couldn't help but understand. He thought this way because he treated Lin Xie as an outsider. If it were the fellows, he would still care about the fellows remembering him, okay? Of course not. After all, he was willing to do things for the fellows without asking for anything in return. For example, he had given the chaotic element immortal herb to the fellows. Could it be that he wanted the fellows to repay him? Actually, that wasn't the case. He was just doing his filial piety as a son. Zhu Juqing was doing the same for Lin Xie. With this thought, Lu Yuan felt relieved. Forget it, forget it. As long as Zhu Juqing was happy, it was fine. Why was he thinking so much? Could it be that he had been scheming so much that he had to consider the pros and cons of every situation? Was he trying to see if he could get any benefits out of it? Lu Yuan couldn't help but reflect on himself. It seemed that he had to change his way of thinking. If he only thought about how to get the most benefits, his life would definitely be boring and dry. Only a life with true feelings would be more colorful. Lu Yuan was reflecting on himself. On the other side, Lin Xie heard Zhu Juqing's words and couldn't help but smile. Sure enough, no matter how many things she had experienced, Juqing was still as innocent and adorable as before in front of her. Zhuyun, on the other hand, was far inferior to Juqing. Her heart had long been tainted by other things. She was no longer as pure and flawless as Juqing. Looking at Lu Yuan and Zhu Juqing, Lin Xie smiled and said, Abuchi, Juqing, thank you for being magnanimous and willing to let Zhuyun go. I thank you here. As for what Zhuyun has done to Juqing since she was young, I will apologize to Juqing on her behalf. When I have the chance, I will personally bring Zhuyun to apologize to Juqing. Bring Zhuyun to apologize? Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but be shocked out of his thoughts. He looked at Lin Xie with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Auntie, do you think Zhuyun will be willing to apologize? Don't worry, Abuchi. Leave this to me. I will convince Zhuyun. Since Juqing is magnanimous, as her mother, I have to do something. I really want to see the two of them get along well, Lin Xie said. It's naturally best if they get along well. However, Auntie, please take it easy. Don't force Zhuyun to apologize. Things might go against your wishes and make her hate Juqing even more. If she can't hold it in and does something she shouldn't do, don't blame me for not giving you face. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Auntie knows. Don't worry. Alright, it's getting late. I should be leaving. Someone will bring you lunch in a while. I won't stay here and disturb your meal. Lin Xie smiled and stood up. Alright, take care. Lu Yuan and Zhu Juqing stood up at the same time and watched Lin Xie slowly walk out of the room. Juqing, you seem to be very happy. Lu Yuan asked softly as he retracted his gaze and looked at the smile on Zhu Juqing's face. Mother said that she would bring my sister here to apologize to me and for us sisters to get along well. Of course I'm happy, Zhu Zhuqing said. You really believe that auntie can do it? Lu Yuan's eyes were filled with faint doubt. Of course I believe her. Ever since I was young, as long as it's something mother says, she will do it. This time will definitely be the same, Zhu Zhuqing said confidently. I hope so, Lu Yuan sighed softly when he heard that. The next day, in the morning, inside Zhu Zhuqing's room, Zhuqing, I'm sorry. Ever since you were young, Big Sister has tried to assassinate you many times. It's Big Sister's fault. Big Sister apologizes to you. In front of Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing, a young girl apologized with a face full of sincerity. This young girl's figure was also extremely hot. Her face was somewhat similar to Zhu Zhuqing's. She was Zhu Zhuqing's sister, Zhu Zhuyun. She really came to apologize. Lu Yuan looked at this scene quietly and did not say a word. In less than a day, Lin Xie had convinced Zhu Zhuyun to apologize. No matter how he thought about it, it was somewhat amazing. This made Lu Yuan doubt the authenticity of this matter. Was Zhu Zhuyun really as sincere as she appeared on the surface and did not have a trace of resentment in her heart? Or did Lin Xie really convince her? If it was the latter, then this Lin Xie really had some ability. Chapter 770. However, Lu Yuan still shook his head after thinking about it carefully. No matter how capable Lin Xie was, how could she resolve the knot in Zhu Zhuyun's heart in a single day? It was impossible. With Zhu Zhuyun's jealousy towards Zhu Zhuqing and her resentment towards him, how could it be so easily resolved? She probably wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood. After all, he was the one who crippled Davis and caused her to lose the position of crown princess. It was normal for her to hate him. After all, Zhu Zhuyun didn't hide her hatred towards him yesterday. Zhu Junlin was afraid of offending him, and even slapped Zhu Zhuyun twice. Lu Yuan had seen it with his own eyes. Could it be that Zhu Zhuyun had lost her power, and had no one to rely on? Could it be that she was frightened by Long Xiaoyaro and the others, and thus hid her hatred, and didn't dare to cause trouble in front of them? If he thought about it from this perspective, it was possible. Lu Yuan thought to himself. It wasn't that Lu Yuan thought too badly of Zhu Zhuyun, or that he had to speculate about her maliciously. It was just that Zhu Zhuyun's actions didn't make sense. Only Lu Yuan's conjecture made sense. Looking at Zhu Zhuyun, who was sincerely apologizing to Zhu Zhuqing, Lu Yuan's eyes flashed. Regardless of whether Zhu Zhuyun was sincerely admitting her mistake this time, or if she was just hiding her resentment, he still had to teach her a lesson. It didn't matter if she hid her hatred, or if she cursed him in her heart. After all, many people cursed him in the world. At the very least, many people from the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon sect were cursing him. He didn't care about such things. What he was worried about was that Zhu Zhuyun would pretend to apologize and get close to Zhu Zhuqing to take revenge. This was something that Lu Yuan couldn't allow. If she really did that, there would only be one outcome: death. No one would be able to save her. Lin Xie wasn't simple either. Did she really just want the two of them to get along? Was there no other scheme? For Zhu Zhuyun to be like this, other than the possibility that she was deliberately hiding her resentment, what exactly did Lin Xie say to her that she was willing to apologize so sincerely today? Lu Yuan still couldn't figure it out in his heart, but it didn't matter. If he couldn't figure it out, he would personally ask later. Zhuqing, everything is my fault. I've wronged you. Now that I know I was wrong, can you forgive me? Zhu Zhuyun's face was filled with remorse as she looked at Zhu Zhuqing with teary eyes. That's right, Zhuqing. Zhuyun already knows that she was wrong and regrets what she did back then. Just forgive her. Lin Xie also advised from the side. Abuchi. Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan. Do whatever you want. Don't worry about me. No matter what you choose, I will support you and protect you. I won't let anyone have the chance to hurt you. Lu Yuan couldn't help but emphasize the word hurt. He glanced at Zhu Zhuyun and his double pupils were filled with coldness. That gaze filled with a fierce aura caused Zhu Zhuyun's delicate body to involuntarily tremble as her pupils shrank slightly. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but smile. She understood Lu Yuan's meaning very well. She knew that Lu Yuan was doubting the authenticity of Zhu Zhuyun's apology. In fact, even she had some doubts in her heart. After all, Zhu Zhuyun's repentance came too quickly and it was difficult for her to completely believe it. Although she was kind-hearted, she wasn't stupid. She could still see these things. However, she was still prepared to accept Zhu Zhuyun's apology. No matter what Zhu Zhuyun did, Zhu Zhuqing didn't want her mother to be sad. After all, this was her mother's kind intentions. Sister, get up. I don't blame you anymore. Zhu Zhuqing held onto Zhu Zhuyun's arm and gently helped her up as she spoke softly. Thank you, Zhuqing. There was a trace of gratitude on Zhu Zhuyun's face. All right, you sisters have finally reconciled. In the future, you must love each other and not kill each other like before. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing accept Zhu Zhuyun's apology, Lin Xie spoke softly with a thick smile on her face. I will get along well with Zhuqing, mother, Zhu Zhuyun said softly. I will too, mother, Zhu Zhuqing said. Good, good. Hearing their words, Lin Xie was very happy. She gently stroked their heads. Her two daughters were willing to get along well with each other. She was really happy in her heart. In Zhu Zhuqing's room, Lin Xie and Zhu Zhuyun stayed for a while before they both bid farewell. The entire room was once again left with only Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing. Zhuqing, I'm going out for a while, Lu Yuan said warmly as he drank a mouthful of tea. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing was silent for a while before she said softly, go easy on her later. Don't go overboard. Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan's hand that was holding the teacup paused for a moment. Then, he said with a smile, looks like you're not stupid. I thought you were really deceived. You're the stupid one. I just don't want mother to be sad. I feel that big sister is deliberately trying to get close to me. I just don't know what she's thinking. Zhu Zhuqing said. You'll know when you ask her yourself. All right, wait here for a while. I'll be back soon. With that, Lu Yuan put down the teacup and stood up. Abuchi, go easy on her. Zhu Zhuqing was a little worried as she reminded him again. She understood Lu Yuan's character too well. Zhu Zhuyun wanted to get close to him with strange thoughts. For her safety, Zhu Zhuqing was afraid that he would really be too heavy-handed. Don't worry, I won't kill anyone. Lu Yuan said in a low voice. The golden dragon's shadow appeared under his feet. Lu Yuan's figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. After Lu Yuan disappeared, Ma Xiaotao's figure suddenly appeared in the room. Lu Yuan didn't feel at ease about the Duke's mansion. Since he was gone, Ma Xiaodao would protect Zhu Zhuqing to prevent any accidents from happening. Even if it was Lin Xie, after today's events, Lu Yuan's heart was a little wary. He felt that this woman's intentions were a little impure. Although she didn't have any malicious intentions, her way of doing things made Lu Yuan somewhat dislike her. Zhu Zhuyun's matter was definitely related to her. A golden light flashed and Lu Yuan's figure rushed in the Duke's mansion. Following Lin Xie and Zhu Zhuyun's footsteps, Lu Yuan quickly caught up. Did I make it? Looking at Lin Xie and Zhu Zhuyun who were walking slowly in front of him, Lu Yuan's figure flashed and hid to the side. Chapter 771. Lin Xie and Zhu Zhuyun spoke softly as they walked, and Lin Xie could vaguely hear their voices. We're too far away, so I can't hear them clearly. Lu Yuan frowned as he listened to their words. In order to prevent himself from being discovered, he had landed a little further back. Even with his spiritual sense, he couldn't hear what they were talking about. I'll have to rely on you. Lu Yuan muttered softly. A light flashed in his hand, and the vast sea cosmic shroud appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. It spun in his palm and emitted a beautiful blue light. Lu Yuan injected his soul power into it, and the vast sea cosmic shroud lit up. A transparent blue light enveloped Lu Yuan, and Lu Yuan disappeared from where he was. The vast sea protective shroud had the ability to become invisible. It could hide one's aura and other people's senses. With this, Lu Yuan could follow them at a close distance without being discovered. After casting the Immensity Sea Shield, Lu Yuan's figure immediately caught up with them. Zhu, are you sure you want to do this? Lin Xie asked softly as she looked at Zhu. The path they were walking on was very quiet, and there wasn't a single person around. Therefore, they didn't have much scruples when they spoke. Mother, do you think this isn't good? I'm trying to bring the Zhu family and the Dragon King Hall closer together. Zhu smiled. But you're trying to get close to Lu Yuan through Zhu Qing. When Zhu Qing finds out about everything, she'll hate you even more. I don't want to see the two of you turn against each other again. Lin Xie sighed softly. That won't happen. You know Zhu Qing's personality. She listens to you the most. As long as you explain things to her, she'll feel at ease in the end. Furthermore, I'm doing this for the good of the Zhu family. Zhu Qing alone might not be able to tie down Lu Yuan. If I help her, we'll definitely be able to tie the Dragon King Hall and the Zhu family together. This will be very beneficial to the Zhu family. Don't you want to see the day when the Netherworld family becomes stronger? Also, haven't you always hoped that Zhu Qing and I can help each other? We are sisters. If we become Lu Yuan's women, won't we be even closer? Now that Weiss is crippled, I need to find someone to rely on. I'm a weak woman, and I don't have much of a presence in the Netherworld family. Yesterday, my father slapped me twice because I'm worthless. If I don't find a chance to prove my worth, then will there still be a place for me in the Duke's mansion? Can Mother bear to see me suffer alone for the rest of my life? Zhu asked Lin Xie. This. Lin Xie was at a loss for words. No matter what, Zhu was still her daughter. She could not bear to see Zhu suffer for the rest of her life. Moreover, Zhu words were not necessarily unreasonable. If she and Zhu Qing became Lu Yuan's women, then the Dragon King Palace and the Zhu family would be bound together. When the time came, as long as she tried to persuade Zhu Qing, it would not be too difficult for the two sisters to live in harmony. Moreover, based on her observation of Lu Yuan over the past few days, she found that he doted on his women very much. If Zhu really became Lu Yuan's woman, she would not have to worry about her being bullied. Zhu would also be able to find her own happiness. Thinking about it, this suggestion did not seem too bad. How about it? Mother, you think that my idea is not bad, right? As long as I become Lu Yuan's woman, not only will I have a new backer, it will also be greatly beneficial to our Zhu family. Also, if Zhu Qing and I want to live in harmony, this is the only way. Lu Yuan has crippled Davis and destroyed my backer. Unless he compensates me with a new one, I will not let this matter rest. Mother, I have already listened to you and apologized today. Therefore, you have to help me in this matter. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't inadvertently reveal our conversation to Zhu Qing or Lu Yuan. I can't care so much about what will happen then. Zhu said faintly with a hint of threat in her tone. You. Hearing Zhu words, Lin Xie could not help but feel anxious. This rebellious daughter actually dared to threaten her. You are really far inferior to Zhu Qing, Lin Xie said angrily. So be it. I'm indeed not as innocent and obedient as Zhu Qing. I'm a very selfish person. However, Mother, no matter what, I'm still your daughter. Whether it's for public or private reasons, you have to help me, said Zhu. Lin Xie snorted. Her chest rose and fell slightly. After a while, she recovered. How do you want me to help you? Don't forget that Lu Yuan's attitude towards you is not good, Lin Xie said. It is precisely because his attitude towards me is not good that I need your help. In this family, his attitude towards you is better. He even calls you aunt. When you are free, you can talk to him more about me and try to change his impression of me. Of course, I will also visit Zhu Qing often. I will be a good sister. With your help, Lu Yuan will soon have a new positive impression of me. Zhu said. Even if he has a new impression, do you really think you can win over Lu Yuan? He is the Lord of Dragon King Palace. He is not an ordinary person. Lin Xie said. It's good that he is not an ordinary person. If he were an ordinary person, I would not like him. The more difficult it is to conquer, the more interested I am. Even if he is not ordinary, he is still a man. Which man doesn't cheat? Look at your daughter's figure and looks. If I were to lean on him, I don't believe that he would be able to hold himself back. Even if he could hold himself back for a while, as time passes, he would still be subdued by me. My skills in certain areas are much better than Zhu Qing's. Zhu Qing is too cold. She doesn't know how to please a man at all. Even so, she can still charm Lu Yuan. If it were me, wouldn't it be easier? Zhu Zhuyun said with a confident face. Zhu Qing is keeping herself clean. It is the reserved nature of a good girl. You are licentious. How dare you look down on Zhu Qing? Lin Xie said sarcastically. I'm slutty, mother. You have to have a conscience when you speak. I've never been touched by any man other than Davis. How am I slutty? I'm just bold and hot. Besides, how can a woman please a man if she's not bold? Zhu Zhuyun curled her lips and said disapprovingly. Chapter 772. Mother, don't you think what I said makes a lot of sense? Zhu Zhuyun asked. Nonsense. Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lin Xie secretly spat and said. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuyun was not angry. She smiled and said, Mother, no matter what you say, it is a fact that your daughter is very charming. Mother, you don't have to worry about me wooing Lu Yuan in the future. However, I still need your help to change Lu Yuan's attitude in the beginning. Mother, you have to help me put in a good word. Don't forget what you promised me. If I go crazy, Mother and the rest of you won't have a good time. Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lin Xie's expression changed. She sighed slightly and said, Mother will do these things well. As for the rest, I don't care. But I warn you, regardless of whether you succeed in the end, you have to get along well with Zhu Qing. You can't have any bad thoughts about her. Lin Xie said sternly. Of course. As long as Mother is willing to help me, I will naturally not make things difficult for Zhu Qing. Zhu Zhuyun smiled. Remember what you said. Lin Xie warned Zhu Zhuyun again and said, It's getting late. Let's part ways here. Mother, take care. Zhu Zhuyun said with a smile. Lin Xie walked away. The smile on Zhu Zhuyun's face slowly disappeared. A look of resentment appeared in her beautiful eyes. Zhu Zhuqing, it's all because of you that Davis was crippled by Lu Yuan. Aren't you very happy? Since your man crippled the man that originally belonged to me, then I will now snatch your man away. I want to see what kind of expression you will have when the time comes. I will let you have a taste of the pain of having the man you love taken away. You think you are worthy of being the wife of the Dragon King Palace's lord? Only I am qualified to sit in this position. Since I can't be the Empress of the Sionra Empire, being the wife of the Dragon King Palace's lord is also a good choice. As for Lu Yuan, no matter how extraordinary he is still just a man. I don't believe that he can escape from my grasp with my methods. Zhu Zhuyun sneered and couldn't help but clench her fists, as if she wanted to hold something tightly in her hands. Really? I don't know where you get your confidence from. Just as Zhu Zhuyun thought to herself, as if she could see the scene of that day, a faint voice suddenly sounded, causing her delicate body to tremble. Her delicate body trembled slightly. She turned her head and saw that 3 meters away from her, a white figure suddenly appeared. His left hand was behind his back, and in his right hand was a gorgeous blue triangular cone that was gently rotating. A soft blue light was being emitted from it. His expression was calm as he looked in her direction with a hint of coldness in his eyes. Lu Yuan. Seeing this figure, Zhu Zhuyun's face suddenly turned pale as if blood had drained from her face. Her forehead was dripping with cold sweat and her back was tingling with a chill. She was so frightened that her soul almost left her body. You heard everything just now? Zhu Zhuyun's voice was trembling. Why? Are you scared now? Don't worry, I just came here not long ago. I just happened to hear everything that you and your mother said. What a pair of mother and daughter, teaming up to trick Zhu Qing. I thought that Lin Xie loved Zhu Qing very much, but now it seems that she's just SOSO. And you sure have a lot of thoughts. If I didn't listen to the whole thing, I wouldn't have known that you had so many ideas. Playing me in the palm of your hand? Zhu Zhuyun, you're really something. Lu Yuan raised his right hand, and the vast sea cosmic shroud spun before shrinking and disappearing into his brow. At the same time, he appeared in front of Zhu Zhuyun as if he had teleported. His aura rose and pressed down on Zhu Zhuyun. Lu Yuan's fighting strength was comparable to a transcendent Douluo's, and his aura was extremely violent. Even if he only revealed a small portion of his aura, it was enough to make Zhu Zhuyun suffer. Under this pressure, Zhu Zhuyun's pretty face turned red. She gritted her teeth, and her expression was a little ferocious. Her delicate body was on the verge of collapse. Lu Yuan's aura was too forceful and oppressive, and she was a little out of breath. Seeing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but sneer. His aura rose by 30% again. Plop! His aura suddenly increased, and Zhu Zhuyun immediately knelt on the ground with a putong sound. Her jade-like hands supported herself on the ground to prevent her body from falling. However, this pressure was too frightening. Even though she had used all her strength, and the veins on her arms were popping out, it was still useless. Under this pressure, her body was still pressed down, and she was about to crawl on the ground. At this moment, Lu Yuan suddenly withdrew the pressure from his body, and the terrifying pressure that was like a tidal wave dissipated. Zhu Zhuyun couldn't help but sit on the ground. Her chest rose and fell violently, like a drowning person who had just come out of the water. Lu Yuan reached out his right hand and grabbed Zhu Zhuyun's neck. He lifted her up. Zhu Zhuyun hurriedly stood up, and grabbed Lu Yuan's arm. She looked at Lu Yuan with her big eyes, and there was a pleading look in her eyes. You can't even withstand 30% of my aura. Where did you get the guts to scheme against me and Zhu Qing? Lu Yuan said coldly as he looked at Zhu Zhuyun. Cough. Zhu Zhuyun wanted to speak, but her neck was tightly gripped by Lu Yuan. She couldn't speak at all. Seeing this, Lu Yuan raised his eyebrows. He loosened his grip, but his right hand was still gripping her neck. Cough, 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 cough. Suddenly being able to breathe, Zhu Zhuyun couldn't help but cough loudly. After a while, she finally slowly came back to her senses. Looking at the cold Lu Yuan in front of her, Zhu Zhuyun's expression changed slightly. She gritted her teeth and made up her mind. No matter how she quibbled now, it was useless. After all, Lu Yuan had discovered her plan. No matter how much she said, it was impossible to win Lu Yuan's trust. Moreover, this man had followed her in secret. He probably didn't believe her words from beginning to end. Since she was going to die anyway, she might as well go all out. She didn't believe that Lu Yuan would really dare to kill her here. If he killed her, Lu Yuan and Lin Xie would definitely fall out, and the marriage would definitely be blocked. Moreover, she was confident in herself. Lu Yuan couldn't bear to kill her. Chapter 773. Zhu Zhuyun's mind turned slightly. She stared straight at Lu Yuan and her jade-like hands began to gently stroke Lu Yuan's arm. What are you doing? Feeling the touch on his arm, Lu Yuan furrowed his brows and yelled. Hallmaster Lu, do you think I'm beautiful? Zhu Zhuyun winked at Lu Yuan with a seductive look in her eyes. SOSO, far from Zhu Qing, Lu Yuan said indifferently. Nonsense, I'm clearly 50% similar to Zhu Qing. We obviously look similar. Zhu Qing might be a little more delicate than me, but I'm more mature than Zhu Qing. Zhu Zhuyun said coquettishly. Hearing this, Lu Yuan's eyes were indifferent and he did not say anything. Hallmaster Lu, do you think my figure is good? Isn't she more mature and charming than Zhu Qing? Zhu Zhuyun asked softly again. What are you trying to say? Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and asked sternly. Nothing, I just want to have a heart-to-heart talk with Hallmaster Lu. Hallmaster Lu, can you let go of me? I can't breathe from your grip. Since you're so strong, I can't run away even if I wanted to. My neck feels more comfortable. You can't bear to let go, Hallmaster Lu? Zhu Zhuyun said coquettishly. Don't flatter yourself. I don't even have the interest to look at you, Lu Yuan said coldly and moved his right hand away. Hihi, I knew that Palace Master Lu is a man who has tender feelings for women. Palace Master Lu, look. Zhu Zhuyun twirled in a circle in front of Lu Yuan, fully revealing her figure. What do you think, Hall Master Lu? I'm not bad, right? Zhu Zhuyun asked. What trick are you trying to play? If you want to seduce me, then forget it. I won't fall for it. Lu Yuan's eyes were cold as he said indifferently. I don't believe you. I want to seduce you. I don't believe you won't be moved. Hall Master Lu, how about I become your woman with Zhuqing? Beautiful sisters, it's very exciting. Zhu Zhuyun approached Lu Yuan, her tone carrying a hint of ambiguity. Ooh! Suddenly, Zhu Zhuyun could not help but let out a muffled groan. Her neck was once again tightly gripped by Lu Yuan. Do you really think that I have a good temper? That's why I let you act so presumptuously in front of me. Or do you really think that I won't kill you? Looking at Zhu Zhuyun, Lu Yuan's eyes carried a trace of coldness. You won't kill me. You can't bear to kill me, Zhu Zhuyun said softly as she held Lu Yuan's wrists with both hands and looked straight at Lu Yuan. Heh, where did you get your confidence from? You actually think that I wouldn't bear to kill you? Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lu Yuan could not help but find it funny. There were several people in this world that he could not bear to hurt, but Zhu Zhuyun was definitely not one of them. Of course I have confidence. My appearance and figure are the best in the entire continent. I don't believe that you would bear to kill a delicate beauty like me. Don't try to hide it. You can't fool me. Don't be fooled by your cold appearance, you're a lecherous man deep down. I don't believe that you don't desire my body. Zhu Zhuyun said with a face full of confidence. I am indeed a lecherous man. There aren't many men in this world who aren't lecherous. But I'm sorry, I have many girlfriends, and each of them is a heavenly beauty. I really can't take a fancy to someone like you. Furthermore, you've been touched by Davis countless times. Do you think I would be interested? Lu Yuan curled his lips slightly, his expression carrying a trace of disdain. You think I'm dirty? Zhu Zhuyun's expression turned ugly. Do you think you're very clean? Lu Yuan asked with a smile. I've always been clean. Other than my fiancé, Davis, I've never been touched by any man. What right do you have to say that I'm dirty? Zhu Zhuyun retorted agitatedly. I'm not talking about how dirty you are. I'm talking about your heart. You know very well how Zhuqing treats you. She forgave you for your previous actions and magnanimously forgave you. Yet, you still want to take revenge on her. Your conscience has really been eaten by a dog. Lu Yuan said indifferently with a trace of disgust in his expression. So what if I'm taking revenge on her? I just want to take revenge on her. If it weren't for her, why would you have crippled Davis, and why would I have lost the position of crown princess? Aren't you just standing up for her? And didn't you take a fancy to my beauty? Now you don't dare to admit it, hypocritical man. Zhu Zhuyun said disdainfully. I took a fancy to your beauty. Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lu Yuan was so angry that he laughed. How did Zhu Zhuyun know that he had taken a fancy to her beauty? What, are you still trying to quibble? That day in the arena, you crippled Davis, but you let me go. If you didn't covet my beauty, you would have crippled me and Davis together. Why would you show mercy to me? Zhu Zhuyun questioned. TSK, I thought it was something else. So it was this incident that gave you an illusion. Do you know why I showed mercy to you that time? It's not because you're beautiful. To tell you the truth, it's because before the arena, Zhuqing begged me to spare you once for her sake. Otherwise, you would have been crippled together with Davis. Do you think you're an exception? The appearance and figure that you're so proud of are nothing in front of me. I've seen many women who are more beautiful than you. Your beauty really doesn't catch my eye. Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lu Yuan couldn't help but find it funny. So it was because he had shown mercy in the arena that gave her the illusion that he would take a fancy to her. How interesting. No, that's impossible. How could Zhuqing plead for me? You were clearly the one who coveted my beauty. How could Zhuqing be so kind? That's impossible. After Lu Yuan finished speaking, Zhu Zhuyun's face was full of disbelief as she shouted excitedly. However, this is the truth. When you wholeheartedly wanted to kill her, she still took the initiative to persuade me to show mercy to you. Zhu Zhuyun, if you really have the slightest bit of conscience, you should think of her good. Without her, you would have long been a piece of trash. I won't tell Zhu Qing about what happened today. Just take it that I'm giving you a chance to turn over a new leaf on account that you're also a pitiful person who was persecuted by the so-called ancestral law. Zhu Qing is all alone and has never experienced any kinship since she was young. She needs a good mother and a good sister to care for and protect her. You have no one to rely on now and have nowhere to stand in the Duke's mansion. As long as you can let Zhu Qing experience the care of a sister and make her smile, you will be under the protection of the Dragon King Palace in the future. You won't be persecuted by anyone. Chapter 774. However, if you still hold a grudge against Zhu Qing and plot against her, you'll only end up dead. Furthermore, I won't let you die a happy death. As Lu Yuan spoke, he grabbed Zhu Zhuyun's neck and lifted her into the air. As her feet left the ground, Zhu Zhuyun's hands immediately grabbed onto Lu Yuan's arm tightly. Her legs flailed as she struggled with all her might. However, how strong was Lu Yuan? How could Zhu Zhuyun break free from his grip? Not long after, Zhu Zhuyun's face was flushed red and her eyes turned white. This was because she could not breathe and was about to suffocate. Thump! Lu Yuan released his right hand and Zhu Zhuyun's body fell to the ground with a loud thud. She took in deep breaths and coughed violently. She had almost suffocated to death just now. This man was really ruthless. Zhu Zhuyun's eyes were filled with fear as she looked at Lu Yuan. At this moment, she believed that this man really did not covet her beauty at all. He would really kill her. Remember this feeling of approaching death. If you still dare to have any bad thoughts about Zhu Qing, your fate will be 100 times more miserable than today. Lu Yuan spoke softly. He reached out with his right hand and grabbed an emerald green pill. He opened Zhu Zhuyun's mouth with one hand and forced the pill into her mouth. The pill melted in her mouth and entered Zhu Zhuyun's body in an instant. What did you feed me? Zhu Zhuyun's heart was filled with fear as a strange pill was suddenly stuffed into her mouth. Based on this man's ruthlessness, he must have fed her something bad. Jade Water Spirit Perishing Pill, one of the most poisonous pills in the world. It's refined from the Jade Water Spirit Soundgrass and the Perishing Heartbone Corroding Lotus in addition to the dual poisons of ice and fire. When the poison takes effect, the blood will surge and the blood vessels will explode. At the same time, all the bones in the body will turn into yellow water. Furthermore, don't think about finding a poison expert to cure you. This poison is my exclusive secret and no one in the world can cure it. If you find someone to cure you and the method is wrong, it will cause the poison to take effect earlier and even more violently. When that happens, you'll die an even more painful death. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Why are you doing this to me? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuyun felt her hands and feet turn cold. Lu Yuan actually fed her such a terrifying poison. At that moment, she could no longer hold back the emotions in her heart. All the grievances surged madly into her heart. She shouted hysterically at Lu Yuan. Because I'm worried about you. I'm worried that you won't change and want to harm Zhu Qing. I can't stay by Zhu Qing's side all the time, so I can only feed you a Jade Water Spirit pill. Only then can I be at ease. This is the only way you won't dare to play any tricks. As long as you have the slightest bad intention, this poison will instantly take your life. Furthermore, even if I were to leave, as long as I return and discover that Zhu Qing has suffered even the slightest injury, I will immediately activate the poison and send you to your death. Thus, it is best that you take good care of Zhu Qing. As long as Zhu Qing is fine, you will be fine. Thus, it is best that you take good care of her. Don't let anything happen to her. You also don't have to worry about the poison acting up prematurely. As long as I don't activate it, nothing will happen for 10 or 100 years. Lu Yuan said indifferently. Is Zhu Qing that good? You're so considerate of her. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuyun's jealousy for Zhu Qing deepened once again. At least she's much better than you. If it were you and Zhu Qing wanted to kill you, and you saw that Zhu Qing was about to be crippled, would you plead for her? Lu Yuan asked. No. Zhu Zhuyun shook her head and said. But Zhu Qing did so. She pleaded for you. This is the difference between you and her. She is kind and pure, while you are selfish and only greedy for power. Such a pure and kind Zhu Qing. Is there anything wrong with me being nice to her and thinking of her? Lu Yuan asked. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuyun fell silent and did not answer. Looking at the silent Zhu Zhuyun, Lu Yuan sighed softly and said, 5 years. I'll give you 5 years. As long as you can get along well with Zhu Qing in these 5 years and let her enjoy more familial love and warmth, I'll help you get rid of the poison in your body. Moreover, don't you like power? I can guarantee you that as long as you treat Zhu Qing well and get along well with her, I'll give you everything you want in the future. Are you serious? Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuyun's eyes lit up and she asked. I never lie, but the premise is that you really treat Zhu Qing well and let her feel the beauty of family love, Lu Yuan said. All right, then it's decided. I'll do my part as an elder sister. Isn't it just taking care of my younger sister? It's simple. However, is the protection you mentioned true? Zhu Zhuyun asked. Of course. I'll explain this to Zhu Junlin tomorrow. I believe that with my words, not only will he not dare to do anything to you, he'll even worship you. Lu Yuan said indifferently. That's true. Given my father's guts, if you speak, he won't dare to say a word, Zhu Zhuyun said with a smile. It's good that you know. Then it's settled, Lu Yuan said. It's settled then. Zhu Zhuyun nodded and said. Then, her eyes turned and her gaze shifted slightly, sizing up Lu Yuan's body. The corner of her mouth curled into a strange smile. Why are you looking at me so strangely? Lu Yuan frowned and asked indifferently when he saw Zhu Zhuyun's strange gaze. Hehe, I realize that you're really quite handsome. No wonder Zhu Qing is head over heels for you. Even I find it hard to control my heart when I look at you. Why don't you reconsider my suggestion just now? I can be with Zhu Qing, okay? Zhu Zhuyun said with a smile. You still haven't given up on your evil intentions? Lu Yuan's expression was a little ugly. Hey, don't be angry. Okay, I don't need you to take responsibility. My figure is really good. Do you want to try it with me? Scram. Hearing this, Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and spat out a single word. Aya, don't be shy. Or are you worried that Zhu Qing will find out? Don't worry, if you and I don't say anything, Zhu Qing won't find out, Zhu Zhuyun said with a smile. She suddenly realized that it was quite fun to tease Lu Yuan like this. Moreover, Lu Yuan had treated her like that just now, so she had to get back at him. However, how could Lu Yuan be so easily dealt with by her? Hearing Zhu Zhuyun's words, Lu Yuan raised his right hand and formed a hand seal. He said, this hand seal is used to activate the poison. As long as I circulate my soul force, the poison in your body will immediately explode. So, are you going to scram or not? Scram, I'll scram right now. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuyun's expression changed. She broke into a run and disappeared in an instant. She was very afraid of the poison that Lu Yuan had fed her. Hearing that Lu Yuan was going to activate the poison, some of the strange thoughts in her heart disappeared without a trace. She didn't dare to cause trouble in front of Lu Yuan anymore. Chapter 775. Seeing Zhu Zhuyun run away in fear, Lu Yuan dispersed the seal and smiled. You still dare to play tricks with me? Do you really think I can't deal with you? He could see through Zhu Zhuyun's little scheme at a glance. How could it be so easy for her to get back her face in his hands? Not to mention, he still had the jade water spirit pill in his hand. Now that I have the jade water spirit pill, I can completely control Zhu Zhuyun. Today's deal should be able to appease her. This woman is too jealous and too greedy for power. I can only use poison and force to threaten her for a while, but as time goes by, it is inevitable that she will have other thoughts. It is safer to use the temptation of power. At most, after unifying the continent, I will give her a fief. It is a small matter. Sigh, it is a pity that this woman is Zhu Qing's sister and her experience is indeed a bit pitiful. Otherwise, it would be best to kill such a person as soon as possible. I wouldn't have to think so much and deliberately use methods to control her. Zhu Qing, for you, I have really put in a lot of effort. Lu Yuan sighed softly and his figure instantly disappeared. In Zhu Qing's room, Lu Yuan's figure appeared. Seeing Lu Yuan appear, Ma Xiaodao, who had been waiting, nodded to Lu Yuan and then hid in the dark again. You're back. What did you find out? What does my sister want? Zhu Qing looked at Lu Yuan and asked softly. Well, I found out some things. Your sister wants to do something to me. Lu Yuan sat on the chair, poured a cup of tea, and said faintly. Do something to you? What do you mean? Does she want to take revenge on you? Hearing this, Zhu Qing couldn't help but frown. That's not it. I mean that she wants to do something to you. Lu Yuan's eyes flashed. He told Zhu Zhuyun some of her plans, but concealed the fact that she wanted to take revenge on Zhu Qing. After all, if she didn't say anything, Zhu Qing would definitely be suspicious. Hiding it was also for Zhu Qing's good. If Zhu Qing knew that Zhu Zhuyun wanted to take revenge on her, the relationship between the two sisters would be completely broken. Lu Yuan still intended to let her experience the care of an elder sister. Zhu Qing's eyes flickered as she asked in a cold tone, so you're saying that my sister wants to get close to you because she lost Davis to seek new support and protection? Yes, that's right. Lu Yuan nodded gently. Hearing Lu Yuan's affirmation, Zhu Qing's face suddenly turned cold, and a trace of sternness appeared in her eyes. What a good Zhu Zhuyun. I'll let bygones be bygones and forgive her, but she actually has designs on my man. You can't have agreed to her, right? Suddenly, Zhu Qing seemed to have thought of something. Her cold eyes looked at Lu Yuan. Hey, kitten, what are you thinking? How could I agree to such a request? Of course, I rejected it sternly, Lu Yuan said righteously. Really? Zhu Qing's eyes had a trace of suspicion. Of course, it's true, Lu Yuan said. I don't believe it. My sister has such a good figure and looks. How could a pervert like you not be tempted? And you really don't have any bad thoughts in your heart. For example, me and my sister together. Zhu Qing's eyes were filled with a cold light, which made Lu Yuan's arms have goosebumps. Of course not. Don't you know how high my standards are? Do you think your sister will be interested in you? And you know how many girlfriends I have now. If I have another one, won't you guys explode on the spot? Lu Yuan said snappily. That's true. My sister has been touched by Davis so many times. You shouldn't be interested. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Qing somewhat believed him. Then how did you deal with my sister in the end? Zhu Qing asked. It would have been best to kill her, but considering you, I gave up the idea. I promised her that from now on, His Highness the Dragon King will be responsible for protecting her. In exchange, she will live in harmony with you and fulfill her obligations and responsibilities as a sister. Lu Yuan said softly. That's it. It's that simple? Zhu Qing asked with some surprise. It's that simple. With your sister's current status, how much more can she ask for? She should be satisfied with having us protect her. Lu Yuan said. That's true. Zhu Qing murmured softly. Thinking of Zhu Junlin slapping Zhu Zhuyun twice, coupled with Lu Yuan's explanation, she believed 80 to 90% of this matter. With light steps, Zhu Qing walked to the door and closed it. Then, she drew the curtains on the window and hugged Lu Yuan. Hey, Zhu Qing, what are you trying to do by closing the doors and windows so tightly in broad daylight? Looking at Zhu Qing's actions, Lu Yuan had a strange guess in his heart. Nothing. I want to feed you and make your mind purer, so that you won't let your imagination run wild and come up with ideas that you shouldn't have. With that, Zhu Qing stood on tiptoe and pressed her lips forward, blocking Lu Yuan's lips. Be ***, Zhu Junlin, how dare you? In the imperial study, Dai Tianfeng slammed the letter in his hand on the desk. His dignified face was full of anger, and his tiger eyes were burning with anger. Why is your majesty so angry? Could it be that the Duke of Netherworld has done something excessive? Seeing Dai Tianfeng so angry, A middle-aged man beside him asked with some doubt. This middle-aged man was the marshal of the 3 armies of the Sionra Empire, Lin Yuanjing. Today, he was summoned into the imperial study by Dai Tianfeng to discuss some matters, but he didn't expect to see this scene. Excessive? It is indeed excessive. This Zhu Junlin actually dared to unilaterally tear up the marriage contract between Mu Bai and Zhu Zhuqing. He even said that he felt like old friends at first sight with the Dragon King Palace Lord and wanted to betroth Zhu Zhuqing to the Dragon King Palace Lord Lu Yuan. You also know this Lu Yuan. He is the one who crippled Weiss and harmed Mu Bai. Zhu Junlin actually broke the marriage contract and married him. This is completely disregarding our Star Luo imperial family. This is a provocation to our Star Luo imperial family. Dai Tianfeng gnashed his teeth as he spoke. His expression was ferocious, and it was obvious that he was extremely angry in his heart. The Star Luo imperial family was not the Heaven Do imperial family. As the Star Luo emperor, Dai Tianfeng had always been a man of his word, and no one dared to provoke him. Now that Zhu Junlin had unilaterally broken off the marriage contract, this was a public provocation to the dignity of the imperial family. How could Dai Tianfeng not be angry? There is such a thing. Hearing Dai Tianfeng's words, Lin Yuanjing asked with some surprise. He was really surprised. With Zhu Junlin's character, was he the kind of person who dared to take the initiative to break off the marriage contract? Chapter 776. After being an official for so many years, Lin Yuanjing was very clear about what kind of person Zhu Junlin was. Zhu Junlin wasn't weak. He was a rank 85 soul Douluo. Although he wasn't as strong as Lin Yuanjing, he was still considered an expert. However, Zhu Junlin was cold and indecisive. He was ruthless and weak. Simply put, he looked tough on the outside, but he was weak on the inside. How could someone like him dare to break off the engagement with the Star Luo royal family? How could this be fake? The letter clearly states that Zhu Junlin wants to break off the engagement. After all, Mu Bai has been harmed by the Martial Soul Palace. If he wants to break off the engagement, I can agree to his request as long as he discusses it with me. However, what does he mean by breaking off the engagement? Furthermore, he dares to form a marriage alliance with the Dragon King Hall, who has crippled 2 of the heirs of the Star Luo royal family. Does he really think that I can't kill him? Dai Tianfeng slammed the letter on the table and gestured for Lin Yuanjing to open it. Lin Yuanjing didn't stand on ceremony. He was Dai Tianfeng's close official, and had always been trusted. Reading a letter wasn't a big deal. After reading the letter carefully, Lin Yuanjing's expression turned a little heavy. The letter really said that, and it wasn't very tactful. It was clear that Zhu Junlin wanted to break off the engagement. Furthermore, the letter was full of praise for the Dragon King Hall and Lu Yuan. It was no wonder that Dai Tianfeng was so angry. Lin Yuanjing didn't know what Zhu Junlin was thinking. He actually dared to write this. Lin Yuanjing naturally didn't know that Zhu Junlin didn't want to write this. After writing it, he wanted to hand it over to Lu Yuan's subordinate, Long Xiaoyao, to check. If Zhu Junlin didn't praise the Dragon King Hall and Lu Yuan better, he wouldn't be able to send this letter out. It couldn't be helped. Long Xiaoyao's fist was too big. Under Long Xiaoyao's pressure, Zhu Junlin had no choice but to give in. What do you think? Am I right? This Zhu Junlin is really audacious. And that Lu Yuan, he crippled my 2 successors. Does he really think that he can be unscrupulous just because he is the Lord of Dragon King Palace? If he had stayed in the Heaven Do Empire, I wouldn't have been able to do anything to him. But now that he's come to the Sionra Empire, don't blame me for being merciless. I'll take advantage of this opportunity to avenge Weiss and Mu Bai, and kill him here for good. There's also Zhu Junlin. This time, I'll take his life as well. Anyone who dares to offend me will be killed without mercy. Dai Tianfeng said indifferently, his tone carrying a biting cold killing intent. Hearing Dai Tianfeng's words, Lin Yuanjing's expression changed as he hurriedly said, Your Majesty, wait. I have something to say. If you have anything to say, just say it. Dai Tianfeng's attitude towards Lin Yuanjing was still very good. After all, Lin Yuanjing was his right-hand man. Your Majesty, I don't think your way of handling this matter is appropriate, Lin Yuanjing said. What did you say? Dai Tianfeng couldn't help but frown when he heard Lin Yuanjing's words. He was a little displeased, but Lin Yuanjing was his trusted aide after all. He didn't get angry immediately. Instead, he asked, "What's wrong? Tell me." Lin Yuanjing acknowledged his words before he said softly, "Your Majesty, I think the things in this letter are actually a little suspicious. I'm sure you're aware of Zhu Junlin's character. He doesn't have the guts to do such a thing, and the tone in the letter is also very stiff." "What do you mean?" "What I mean is that Zhu Junlin might have been coerced by someone, and had no choice but to agree to the annulment of the engagement. After all, the Dragon King Palace has several titled Douluo behind them. Such strength is enough to crush the Netherworld family. It's only normal for the Netherworld family to give in to save their lives. Furthermore, the Netherworld family and the Star Luo Imperial family are too close. Even your Empress is from the Netherworld family. Zhu Junlin is also the current leader of the Netherworld family. If you kill him, it will definitely affect the relationship between the Netherworld family and the Star Luo Imperial family. The Star Luo Imperial family's position is so stable now, and the Netherworld White Tiger is inseparable. If you want the Netherworld White Tiger to intimidate the weak and secure the Imperial family's position in every generation, the Netherworld family is indispensable, Your Majesty." Lin Yuanjing said earnestly. "You're right. I was too angry just now. Zhu Junlin can't be killed." After hearing Lin Yuanjing's words, Dai Tianfeng slowly calmed down. After all, he was the emperor of an empire, and he was a ruler with achievements. He could still control his emotions. "What do you think, Yuanjing? Zhu Junlin might not be killed, but the Netherworld family has to be punished. Furthermore, if I don't kill Lu Yuan and those from the Dragon King Palace, the Star Luo Imperial family will become a laughingstock sooner or later. I can't afford to lose that face," Dai Tianfeng said. "We naturally have to deal with the Dragon King Palace. Lu Yuan has directly or indirectly caused the Sionra Empire to lose 2 successors. How can we not take revenge for this? We have to keep him in the Star Luo Empire," Lin Yuanjing said with a serious expression. "Yuanjing, I agree with you. Lu Yuan has at least 2 or 3 titled Douluo protecting him. He can come and go like the wind. If we want to keep them here, we can't rely on an ordinary army. Therefore, I'm prepared to mobilize the White Tiger Legion. I'll mobilize 5,000 elite soul masters and 300,000 soldiers. With 2 things at the same time, I don't believe that we can't take down Lu Yuan. So what if he has the protection of titled Douluo? Enough ants can kill an elephant. Although titled Douluo are powerful, they're still humans. Humans will run out of soul power one day. If we can capture them, it's worth it even if we have to sacrifice all 300,000 soldiers," Dai Tianfeng said with a ruthless expression. "Since Your Majesty has decided, I'll be in charge of this operation. I guarantee that I'll bring back Lu Yuan's head," Lin Yuanjing said loudly. His tone was full of confidence. "All right, with an army god like you taking action, there's no need to worry about capturing them." Dai Tianfeng laughed when he heard Lin Yuanjing's words. Lin Yuanjing was adept at military formations. These Soul Master legions and soldiers would be able to unleash even more power in his hands. Their hopes of capturing Lu Yuan and the others would be even greater. "Yuanjing, go back and gather the soldiers now. I'll gather the White Tiger Legion on my side. At the same time, I'll transfer a few high-level Soul Masters to you so that you can capture Lu Yuan and the others in one fell swoop." "Yes, Your Majesty. I'll go back and prepare then," Lin Yuanjing said. "Go. Oh, yes, when you capture Lu Yuan and the others, remember to bring Zhu Junlin back too. Even if I can't kill him, I'll teach him a lesson to vent my anger," Dai Tianfeng said. "Yes, Your Majesty," Lin Yuanjing acknowledged. After that, he bowed and turned to leave the imperial study. "Lu Yuan," Dai Tianfeng muttered as he watched Lin Yuanjing's figure disappear. His tone was very cold. Chapter 777. On the other side, Dai Tianfeng was mobilizing his troops to capture Lu Yuan. On the other hand, Senyu City was bustling with noise and excitement. The 3-day time limit was up. Today was the day that Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing were officially married. Thanks to Lu Yuan's identity as the Hallmaster of the Dragon King Palace and Zhu Junlin and Lin Xie's invitation, the Duke of Netherworld's mansion was packed with guests today. Just as Lin Xie had said, Dai Tianfeng would only find trouble with Lu Yuan if he wanted to. He wouldn't find trouble with the guests here. Therefore, with the invitation from the two of them and the Dragon King Palace, these people naturally wouldn't refuse. The feud between the Star Luo imperial family and the Dragon King Palace was between the two families. What did it have to do with the guests? Furthermore, even if the Star Luo imperial family wanted to settle the score, they might not be able to do anything to the other party. Did they really think that the titled Douluo were just for show? Because of this, these people weren't worried at all. They were very happy to attend this engagement banquet. Zhu Junlin and Lin Xie were seated in the main hall of the Duke's mansion. Lu Yuan and Zhu Zhuqing were standing in front of them. As it was a marriage ceremony, there had to be some joy. Lu Yuan wasn't wearing a white robe today. Instead, he was wearing a red robe. Zhu Zhuqing was the same. Both of them were dressed in red. As they stood together, they were a handsome man and a beautiful woman. They were really a match made in heaven. Today was only a marriage ceremony. Or rather, an engagement. Therefore, it wasn't as complicated as an official marriage. Moreover, Lu Yuan did not like those complicated formalities. The marriage between the two of them had already omitted a lot of unnecessary things. Hallmaster Lu, I'm officially handing Zhuqing over to you today. I hope you can treat her well in the future. Zhu Junlin looked at Lu Yuan and said seriously. Abuchi, I'm handing my precious daughter over to you today. I hope you can love her and protect her. Don't let her come to any harm. Lin Xie's gentle voice sounded. Her tone was filled with concern for Zhu Zhuqing. I will. I'll do my best to protect and love her. I won't let her suffer. Lu Yuan said seriously. All right. Lin Xie replied softly. She stood up and lifted Zhu Zhuqing's hand, placing it on Lu Yuan's hand. She said, from today onwards, Zhuqing, you are Hallmaster Lu's fiancé. In the future, you must serve him well and fulfill your responsibilities as a wife. I wish the two of you love each other and grow old together. Thank you, mother. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes were slightly red, but her charming face was full of smiles. This was the scene she had been dreaming of. Today, she and Lu Yuan finally got married openly, and she even received her mother's blessings. Zhu Zhuqing really felt that she had no regrets in this life. Thank you, Abuchi. In front of everyone, Zhu Zhuqing, who had always been shy, threw herself directly into Lu Yuan's arms. When she was with Lu Yuan, she actually didn't have many desires. As long as Lu Yuan didn't abandon her, it was enough. However, Lu Yuan treated her extremely well. Whenever there was something good, he would immediately think of her. No matter where he went, he would take her with him. Now, for her sake, he was even willing to enter the Sionra Empire alone, also that she could receive her mother's blessings. Zhu Zhuqing's heart was truly moved and filled with happiness. What are you thanking me for? Isn't this what I should do? And you're already mine. Is there still a need for thanks between us? Lu Yuan said with a smile as he pinched Zhu Zhuqing's cheeks. Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing couldn't help but smile. Her smile was very sweet. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's happy smile, an almost undetectable sigh came from the corner of the main hall. The owner of this sigh was Zhu Zhuqing's sister, Zhu Zhuyun. Her eyes were filled with complex emotions. Zhu Zhuqing was kind-hearted. She didn't fight for anything, but she had obtained everything that ordinary people wanted. Love, status, power. She had everything. But what about her? She had schemed and lusted after power. For this reason, she didn't hesitate to assassinate her own sister many times. In the end, she had nothing. Was she really that much worse than Zhu Zhuqing? No, it was just that she hadn't met such a good man. Looking at the handsome, high-spirited Lu Yuan who was gently hugging Zhu Zhuqing with a doting expression on his face, and then thinking of Davis who had been crippled, Zhu Zhuyun could not help but have a strong sense of envy in her eyes. Zhuqing, you're so lucky. Abuchi, I'm finally your fiancé. It's official. In Zhu Zhuqing's boudoir, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Lu Yuan. Her small face was full of smiles, and even her large eyes couldn't help but curve into crescents. There was no trace of her usual cold appearance. In the past, when Lu Yuan revealed his identity, he would say that she was his fiancée. However, that was without the approval of Zhu Junlin and Lin Xie, so it wasn't official. After today's engagement ceremony, the two of them officially handed Zhu Zhuqing over to Lu Yuan. Now, Zhu Zhuqing was truly Lu Yuan's fiancée. In the future, she could confidently pat her chest and tell others that she was Lu Yuan's fiancée. Yes, in the future, I can openly announce to the world that you, Zhu Zhuqing, are my woman. Lu Yuan pinched Zhu Zhuqing's snow-white chin and said with a chuckle. Are you happy today? Lu Yuan asked gently. Very happy. Today is the happiest day of my life, Zhu Zhuqing said without hesitation. I'm also very happy because after so long, my little kitten finally belongs to me completely, in name and in private, Lu Yuan said. I really thought that you didn't mind at all, stinky man. Listening to Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful eyes couldn't help but slightly glance at Lu Yuan. This guy didn't say it on the surface, but in fact, he still cared a little about her previous engagement with Dai Mubai. But it's also true that his woman has an engagement with another man. Even if it's another person, it's inevitable that he would care. It's just human nature. I'm also a layman. I'm not a saint. Lu Yuan spread his hands and said with a smile. No matter how you explain, you can't change the fact that you're a stinky man. Zhu Zhuqing snorted and said. Yes, I'm a stinky man. But today, this stinky man wants to smell how fragrant you are. As Lu Yuan spoke, he carried Zhu Zhuqing in his arms. Zhu Zhuqing didn't panic. Instead, she looked at Lu Yuan with a smile. Abuchi. Zhu Zhuqing's pleasant voice sounded. What's wrong, Zhuqing? Lu Yuan looked at her tenderly. Give me a child. Zhu Zhuqing said with a blushing face. What did you say? Hearing this, Lu Yuan's body froze and he couldn't help but be stunned. Chapter 778. Abuchi, do you think this move is correct? In the open space outside Zhu Zhuqing's room, Zhu Zhuqing held a long spear in her hand and was practicing one move after another. There's a problem. Raise your right arm a little and point the spearhead down a little. You have to be steady and powerful. This way, the power of the spear will be greater. Lu Yuan said as he adjusted Zhu Zhuqing's posture. Abuchi, I feel that your vast ocean spear art is very difficult to practice. I've been practicing for so long and I've only learned the second move. Zhu Zhuqing said softly as she raised the long spear. Is it difficult to practice? I practiced this when I was 4 or 5 years old. I didn't find it difficult at that time. You're so old now. Could it be that you can't even compare to me when I was 4 or 5 years old? Hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan said softly. How can I compare to you? Abuchi, do you think I don't have the talent to learn this kind of long weapon? Zhu Zhuqing said dejectedly. What do you mean you don't have the talent? I think you haven't put your heart into it. You've been practicing for 3 hours and you've been absent-minded for at least 2 hours. Don't keep staring at me. Didn't you see enough last night? You weren't like this in the past. Lu Yuan rolled his eyes and said snappily. How can it be the same? You were just my boyfriend in the past. Now that you're my fiancé, I have to look at you more. Zhu Zhuqing said with a matter-of-fact face. Hearing this, Lu Yuan couldn't help but find it funny. This reason was really invincible. Zhuqing, I realized that ever since the engagement ceremony, you've become much bolder and less shy. In the past, you always looked at me secretly because you were afraid that others would find out. Look at you now. You can't even hide the affection in your eyes. Lu Yuan said. What's there to hide? I want to see what's there to hide from my fiancé. Zhu Zhuqing said. That's true. After all, our identities are different now. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. Abuchi, I don't want to practice anymore. My arms are a little sore. Zhu Zhuqing said in a tender voice. Yesterday, Zhu Zhuqing had just gotten engaged to Lu Yuan. These 2 days, she wanted to be together with Lu Yuan and enjoy the sweet time together. Yet, Lu Yuan was teaching her how to use the spear. How could she learn? She had worked hard enough and cultivated hard enough. But at this time, she really did not have the mood to cultivate. Forget it, forget it. I see that you don't have any interest in it. If you don't want to practice it, then don't practice it. In a while, I will use my spiritual energy to impart the vast ocean spear art to you and imprint it in your memory. You will be able to learn it faster. Lu Yuan sighed and said helplessly. There was no other way. Since this method was too slow, he could only use a cheat. In any case, he only needed Zhu Zhuqing to familiarize herself with the spear technique. Once she was familiar with it, he would teach her the sea god's divine skill. Originally, he did not expect Zhu Zhuqing to be able to comprehend the spear intent. It was simply unrealistic. Being able to practice the spear technique well was already good enough. I knew that you are the best. Hearing that Lu Yuan allowed her to stop practicing, Zhu Zhuqing was suddenly overjoyed. She put the spear aside and rushed into Lu Yuan's arms. Recently, she had been very clingy. If she was a cold cat before, then these 2 days, she was a well-behaved and clingy cat. You have been particularly cute these 2 days. Lu Yuan hugged Zhu Zhuqing and said with a smile. Do you like it? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Of course I like it. In the past, you rarely acted coquettishly with me. These 2 days, I have seen your coquettish appearance. I have seen a different Zhu Zhuqing. Lu Yuan said softly as he stroked Zhu Zhuqing's long hair. It's good that you like it. Zhu Zhuqing said softly with a smile on her charming face. Suddenly, her expression changed. She touched her belly and asked, Abuchi, when do you think we can have children? Do you want to be a mother so much? Listening to Zhu Zhuqing's words, Lu Yuan was somewhat helpless. Another person who wanted to be a mother. The last one was Chihiro Snow. Of course I want to. Children are the best proof of our love. Saying this, Zhu Zhuqing's eyes could not help but soften. But you are only 14. It's too early. Lu Yuan said. It's not early. My mother had already given birth to my sister when she was 14. Shaking her head, Zhu Zhuqing retorted. Hearing this, Lu Yuan was slightly speechless. In the Douluo continent, it was normal for people to get married and have children at the age of 13 or 14. It was just that he always felt that it was a little strange. Things like having children depend on fate. It can't be rushed. Lu Yuan said. As long as his bloodline did not evolve, he would not have children. Of course, he could not say this to Zhu Zhuqing so as to not dampen her enthusiasm. That's true. Hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing nodded obediently. Just as the two of them were hugging and being lovey-dovey, a red light flashed, and Ma Xiaotao's figure suddenly appeared in front of Lu Yuan. Someone had come. Zhu Zhuqing could only squirm out of Lu Yuan's embrace, but her jade-like hand was still wrapped around Lu Yuan's arm. Sister Xiaodao, what's the matter? Lu Yuan looked at Ma Xiaodao and asked. Sect Master Fu sent news that the Star Luo imperial family has made a move. Ma Xiaodao said as she took out a letter and handed it to Lu Yuan. Opening the envelope, Lu Yuan took out the letter and read it carefully. At the side, Zhu Zhuqing could not help but move her little head closer to read it carefully. Looks like what's supposed to come has finally come. Lu Yuan put away the letter and a cold smile appeared on his face. Abuchi, Sect Master Fu's letter said that the Star Luo imperial family has mobilized 300,000 soldiers. This force cannot be underestimated. Zhu Zhuqing's beautiful face became serious. 300,000 soldiers are nothing. What's really important is the 5,000 Soul Master Legions. The White Tiger Legion is the most elite Soul Master Legion in the Sionra Empire, and there are only 8,000 of them. Now that they've sent 5,000 to deal with me, they really think highly of me. A legion of 5,000 soul masters is completely different from a legion of 5,000 soul masters. The people in the legion know how to cooperate with each other and use battle formations. This 5,000 well-trained soul master legions can defeat soul masters several times their number. This is the terrifying part of a legion. Furthermore, the commander of the legion this time is the Grand Marshal of the Star Luo Empire, Lin Yuanzheng. In his hands, this Soul Master Legion will be able to unleash even more strength. Once the White Tiger Legion holds them back, the rest of the army will surround them. Other than Elder Long, even Elder Xian and Sister Xiaodao will find it hard to escape. They will be completely drained of their soul power, and they will be captured in the end. The 300,000 soldiers will be used as cannon fodder to drain Sister Xiaotao's soul power. Dai Tianfeng is probably thinking of taking us down even if he has to sacrifice his 300,000 soul masters. He is indeed a ruthless person. Lu Yuan said plainly. Chapter 779. Abuchi, what should we do? Zhu Zhuqing was a little flustered after hearing Lu Yuan's words. 5,000 elites from the White Tiger Soul Master Legion and 300,000 soldiers were a little terrifying. Zhu Zhuqing was even more worried when Lu Yuan said that even if Little Xian and Ma Xiaodao were held back by the White Tiger Soul Master Legion, it would be difficult for them to break out of the encirclement. What should we do? Of course, we'll fight, Lu Yuan said with a smile. How are we going to fight so many people? Didn't you say that it would be difficult for the others to escape once they're held back by the White Tiger Soul Master Legion? Zhu Zhuqing asked. I've already considered this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have accompanied you to the Star Luo Empire. Have I done anything that I'm not confident in? Lu Yuan asked. No. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head and said. Then how are you going to fight? There are too many people. Ants can bite an elephant to death. Zhu Zhuqing said. No matter how many ants there are, they're still ants. Dai Tianfeng has made enough preparations. 5,000 elites from the White Tiger Soul Master Legion and 300,000 soldiers. Even if 3 or 4 titled Douluo were to attack together, they would only be defeated and captured. However, there are 2 things that he didn't expect. Lu Yuan said. What 2 things? Zhu Zhuqing was a little confused. The first is Elder Long. An ultimate Douluo's strength can no longer be suppressed by numbers. Not to mention a 5,000 Soul Master Legion, even if there were 10,000, Elder Long would be able to destroy them one by one as long as he has enough time. An ultimate Douluo can already control the power of heaven and earth. Although their soul power isn't limitless, it can't be exhausted by a mere Soul Master Legion. A casual attack from them is difficult for ordinary soul masters to resist. No matter how many low-level soul masters come, they'll just be courting death when faced with such a powerful soul master. It's not impossible to exhaust their soul power, but it requires a powerful soul master of the same rank. Therefore, we don't have to think too much. As long as Elder Long makes a few rounds, the White Tiger Soul Master Legion will be gone. Lu Yuan said with a smile. TSK, are ultimate Douluo so terrifying? Zhu Zhuqing was a little shocked. Why else do you think ultimate Douluo are called ultimate Douluo? This is already the highest realm that humans can reach. One more step and you'll be a god. The Sionra Empire probably hasn't come into contact with an ultimate Douluo before, so they don't know how terrifying an ultimate Douluo is. Otherwise, Dai Tianfeng wouldn't have provoked me. An ultimate Douluo and an ordinary titled Douluo can't be compared at all. Lu Yuan said with a faint smile. What's the second thing? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Do you remember what other identities I have besides being the Lord of the Dragon King Palace and the Holy Son of the Martial Soul Palace? What other identities do you have? Zhu Zhuqing was a little puzzled. Besides these 2, what other identities does Lu Yuan have? Stupid, I'm also a soul engineer. I know how to create soul tools. This is the second thing that Dai Tianfeng didn't expect. For this matter, I prepared many soul tools when I came to the Sionra Empire. Among them, there's a rather powerful soul tool called the Stationary Soul Cannon. I didn't bring many, only 26 of them. Their grades aren't very high either. 16 of them are Class 6, 10 of them are Class 7, and I only have about 300 soul cannon shells. Lu Yuan said casually. TSK. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Zhuqing didn't have much of a reaction. However, Ma Xiaodao couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. There are so many stationary soul cannons. Besides working day and night to create them, little brother must have transferred many from the Dragon King Palace. Little brother, this move of yours is vicious. I'm afraid none of the White Tiger Legion will be able to return. Ma Xiaodao was a little surprised as she said. Ah, of course. Furthermore, I haven't finished speaking. I'm only a Class 7 soul engineer. However, our elder Jing Hongchen is a true Class 9 soul engineer. I heard that he likes to carry Class 9 soul cannons with him. Lu Yuan said plainly. Alright, we can mourn for the White Tiger Legion now. Ma Xiaodao sighed, but her face was full of smiles. Lu Yuan smiled faintly as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing, who was still in a daze. He rubbed her head and said, Soon, I'll put on a grand show for you to see. I'll show you how terrifying soul tools can be when they're used in battle. Son-in-law, I heard that the Star Luo Emperor has Lin Yuanjing as his commander. He has already sent 5,000 elite soul masters from the White Tiger Legion and 300,000 soldiers to attack us. It seems like Senyu City will be surrounded very soon. Do you have a good plan in mind? In the main hall of the Zhu residence, Zhu Junlin looked at Lu Yuan with a panicked expression. Evidently, he had received some information from his own channels. After all, he was the Grand Duke of the Netherworld, one of the 3 great families of the Star Luo Empire. He had his own intelligence network. What did you call me? Son-in-law? After hearing Zhu Junlin's words, Lu Yuan couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. I've misspoken. Do you have any plans in mind? Seeing that Lu Yuan wasn't happy, Zhu Junlin hurriedly changed the way he addressed him. I naturally have a plan. I won't let Lin Yuanjing and the White Tiger Legion return alive. You don't have to worry about the specifics. Just wait at home. Don't worry, I won't let your Senyu City suffer any damage. Lu Yuan said. Yes, yes. As long as Hallmaster Lu has a plan in mind, then it's fine. I'll wait to hear the good news of Hallmaster Lu's triumphant return. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Zhu Junlin hurriedly said. It was good that he didn't have to worry. He was afraid that Lu Yuan would mobilize the Netherworld family. One had to know that the Netherworld family didn't have many soul masters. If they lost a batch of them, then he'd be heartbroken. Lu Yuan's words were exactly what he wanted. Furthermore, seeing how confident Lu Yuan was, Zhu Junlin couldn't help but rejoice in his heart. It seemed that he hadn't made the wrong choice. This Lu Yuan had a lot of tricks up his sleeve. He was confident that he could keep Lin Yuanjing and the White Tiger Legion here. Zhu Junlin didn't know what Lu Yuan's trump card was, but he was curious. After sizing up Zhu Junlin for a while, Lu Yuan said, I'll remember how you address me today. I'll leave it for you for now. However, you don't have the right to call me that right now. When you've fulfilled your duty as a father, then you'll have the right to call me your son-in-law. I know what you're scheming, but I'll say it again. As long as you treat Zhuqing sincerely, I won't be stingy with giving you some benefits. Also, it's time for your Zhu family's so-called ancestral law to be eliminated. From now on, it's not allowed to exist anymore. Chapter 780. I'm not discussing this with you. I'm informing you that the rule of sisters killing each other has to be abolished from Zhu Qing's generation onwards. Of course, you don't have to abolish it. However, I'll send Elder Long and Elder Xian to reason things out with you. Lu Yuan said plainly. Hallmaster Lu, it's not that we don't want to abolish it. However, the Netherworld family has been connected to the Star Luo royal family through marriage for generations. If the Star Luo royal family doesn't agree, we can't do anything about it. Zhu Junlin said helplessly. The Star Luo royal family is nothing. Just listen to me. This time, I'll teach the Star Luo royal family a lesson. I guarantee that they won't dare to cause trouble for you again. Lu Yuan said. Are you serious? If Hallmaster Lu can convince the Star Luo royal family not to pursue this matter, the Netherworld family is willing to abolish this rule. Zhu Junlin said. Of course I'm serious. Leave this matter to me. Let's not talk about it anymore. I have to go. Let's deal with that mob first. Lu Yuan grabbed Zhu Zhuqing's hand and walked out as he spoke. Long Xiaoyaro and the rest followed behind Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan, wait. Just as Lu Yuan and the rest were about to leave, a female voice sounded behind them. Lu Yuan turned around and saw that it was Zhu Zhuyun. What's the matter? Lu Yuan asked. I want to go with you. I want to see how you deal with the White Tiger Legion and the 300,000 soldiers. Furthermore, didn't you ask me to take good care of Zhu Qing? I can help you take care of Zhu Qing during this battle. Zhu Zhuyun said. Hearing this, Lu Yuan hesitated for a moment and said, then you can follow me. No matter what Zhu Zhuyun was thinking, it was still a good thing for her to take care of Zhu Zhuqing. Furthermore, he believed that Zhu Zhuyun wouldn't dare to do anything bad now. On the other hand, Zhu Zhuqing looked at Zhu Zhuyun with a scrutinizing gaze. She hadn't forgotten what Lu Yuan had said the other day. Looks like I'll have to keep a close eye on Abuchi, Zhu Zhuqing thought to herself. After exiting the Duke's mansion, Lu Yuan immediately released his martial soul. 6 black, red, and red soul rings sparkled under his body, causing Zhu Zhuyun, who was seeing it for the first time, to be completely dumbfounded. Her mouth was wide open, and her face was filled with shock. She thought she was seeing things, so she rubbed her eyes, but the scene in front of her didn't change at all. 4 black and 2 red lights still touched her sensitive nerves. Is he still human? Zhu Zhuyun exclaimed in a daze. Lu Yuan naturally couldn't be bothered with what Zhu Zhuyun was thinking. He gently hugged Zhu Zhuqing's waist and flapped the dragon wings on his back. With a loud dragon roar, he flew up into the sky. Behind him, Ma Xiaodao grabbed Zhu Zhuyun and flapped her fiery red wings as she followed closely behind. Long Xiaoyaro, Xian Zi, and Jing Hongchen also rose into the sky and followed them. After flying for more than half an hour, Lu Yuan and the rest landed on an empty plain 25 kilometers away from Senyu City. The Zither sect had already set up camp here. They had chosen a very good location. It was a tall mountain that overlooked the entire plain. After seeing Lu Yuan and the rest land, Fu Yinheng hurriedly came forward to receive them. Greetings, Hallmaster. Greetings, Your Holiness. Fu Yinheng bowed to everyone. You don't have to be so polite, sect leader Fu. How are your preparations going? Lu Yuan asked. Everything has been prepared according to the Hallmaster's instructions. We've already built several dozen fixed locations on this mountaintop that can be used to install stationary soul cannons. We've also buried the remote-controlled explosive soul tools that the Hallmaster has prepared in advance on the plains. We've formed a total of 5 remote-controlled explosive soul tool belts. They are arranged in a square. There are 3 horizontal and 2 vertical. When the time comes, we can directly detonate these explosive soul tools when Lin Yuanzhen's army enters the plain. When that happens, these 5 soul tool belts will completely explode. The entire belt will form 5 huge abysses due to the immense force of the explosion. These 5 abysses will completely cut Lin Yuanzhen's army of 300,000 and the White Tiger Legion into several segments, causing them to be unable to take care of each other. In this way, Lin Yuanzhen's plan of using his army to encircle and exhaust everyone's soul power will completely fail. A rough estimate is that the depth of these chasms is at least 70 to 80 meters, and even the width is no less than 30 meters. An ordinary army would find it difficult to cross such a barrier. With 300,000 soldiers trapped here, it can be said that they have basically lost their ability to fight. Lin Yuanzhen can only rely on his White Tiger Corps. As for the White Tiger Legion, we still have dozens of stationary soul cannons waiting for them. Their fate has been sealed from the start. They will be completely wiped out. Fu Yinheng was a little agitated as he spoke. Thank you, Sect Master Fu. It's been hard on you to lead the Zither sect's disciples to bury the soul tools on the plain. Lu Yuan said gently. It's not hard at all. It's my duty to help the Hall Master. Fu Yinheng said. After hearing this, Lu Yuan smiled faintly and patted his shoulder. He didn't say anything else. However, he remembered Fu Yinheng's contribution. I didn't expect you to have already made such appropriate arrangements, Abuchi. In this way, it's not just empty words to wipe out Lin Yuanzhen's entire army. Zhu Zhuqing was a little astonished as she listened to Lu Yuan and Fu Yinheng's conversation. She didn't expect Lu Yuan to have already set up an ambush at the place Lin Yuanzhen had to pass through. It's not an empty promise. When have I ever made empty promises? If I say that I'll wipe them out, I'll wipe them out. It's just that the Dragon King Hall's soul tool inventory will be completely depleted after this war. I'm afraid we'll have to spend at least 100 million gold soul coins on this war. Soul tools are indeed powerful, but they really burn money. Lu Yuan sighed softly as he spoke. These remote-controlled explosive soul tools, in addition to more than 300 Class 6 and Class 7 soul cannon shells, really cost a lot of money. For example, the soul cannon shells. Without considering the manpower, technology, and so on, just the price of the materials used for a Class 6 soul cannon shell cost more than 10,000 gold soul coins. A Class 7 soul cannon shell cost more than 10,000 gold soul coins. After firing more than 300 of them, just the soul cannon shells alone cost tens of millions. In addition to the 5 remote-controlled explosive soul tool belts, a lot of soul tools had been expended. For these soul tools, Lu Yuan had secretly prepared for more than 3 months. There were more than 2,000 of them. It was important to know that while remote-controlled explosive soul tools were easy to make, and dozens of them could be made in a day, it would still take a long time. Lu Yuan felt like vomiting whenever he saw soul tools. With so many soul tools added together, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that he had spent more than 100 million gold soul coins. Haha, master, it's still worth it to use these gold soul coins to exchange for an elite White Tiger Legion and the position of commander of the Sionra Empire's 3 armies. It's just some soul tools. When I have time, I'll make more for the Hall Master. Jing Hongchen laughed as he spoke. Chapter 781. Elder Hongchen is right. Spending hundreds of millions of gold soul coins in exchange for such a huge victory is indeed worth it. Furthermore, the Dragon King Hall doesn't lack money right now. After hearing Jing Hongchen's words, Lu Yuan couldn't help but smile. The impact and significance of this battle couldn't be measured with money. If the White Tiger Legion was completely wiped out, it would be a huge blow to the Sionra Empire. The 2 empires didn't have many soul masters to begin with. Dai Tianfeng had probably put in a lot of effort to build the White Tiger Legion. There were only 8,000 people in total. Now that 5,000 of them had been wiped out, it would be a huge blow to him. Oh yes, Elder Hongchen, you're a Class 9 soul engineer. You'll be in charge of the Soul Tool Hall in the future. You can also choose some talented students from the Dragon King Hall and teach them how to create soul tools. Our Soul Tool Hall has to develop eventually. The 2 of us won't be enough. Lu Yuan said. Master is right. Leave these things to me. Jing Hongchen patted his chest and promised Lu Yuan. All right, I'll have to trouble you then, Elder Hongchen. Lu Yuan smiled and said. Next, we'll have to set up these stationary soul cannons. When the time comes, we'll beat them until they're badly battered. Lu Yuan said softly. He took out the stationary soul cannons and set them up in the positions that Negative Yinheng and the others had chosen. Beside every stationary soul cannon, there were at least 10 soul cannon shells. Very soon, these stationary soul cannons were set up one by one. The positions that Negative Yinheng and the others had chosen were very hidden. There were huge mountains, and they were about 2 to 3 kilometers away. The people on the plains wouldn't be able to discover these stationary soul cannons. This was the benefit of stationary soul cannons. They could fire from very far away, even from several kilometers away. This was something that soul masters couldn't do. When a soul master used an explosive skill, he or she might be able to match a stationary soul cannon of the same class in terms of offensive strength. However, this was only the central point of the skill. In terms of range and distance, a soul master couldn't compare to a stationary soul cannon. This was the strength of a soul tool. Furthermore, there was another terrifying thing about soul tools. As long as there were enough shells, they could fire continuously. However, soul masters would be exhausted after a single outburst. This was the difference between humans and machines. Lu Yuan nodded in satisfaction as he looked at the stationary soul cannon that had been set up. However, Lu Yuan nodded his head in satisfaction. Jing Hongchen stroked his chin and felt that there was still room for improvement. In his eyes, these stationary soul cannons were too low class. Master, I think we can set up a few more Class 8 stationary soul cannons. I have dozens of cannons here, and Class 8 cannons are much more powerful. Furthermore, they can be used to target the enemy's leaders. As for Class 9 cannons, there's no need. They're too precious. I only have a few Class 9 stationary shells with me. Jing Hongchen said. Since Elder Hongchen says so, let's set up a few cannons. Let's blast them to their heart's content today. Lu Yuan laughed as he spoke. Yes, Master. After obtaining Lu Yuan's permission, Jing Hongchen started to set up the cannons. He chose the highest point on the mountain and set up 3 Class 8 stationary soul cannons. These are Class 8 stationary soul cannons? They're indeed extraordinary. I'll have to play with them later. Lu Yuan laughed as he spoke. Master, since you're in the mood, that's great. Jing Hongchen laughed as he replied. After hearing this, Lu Yuan laughed. He looked at the sky and his expression turned serious. Disciples who know how to use soul tools prepare a cannon fort in pairs. One person will fill the cannons with shells, while the other will aim and fire. Everyone, be alert. The Sionra Empire's army should be arriving soon. Yes, Hall Master. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, these disciples found their positions and carried out their duties. Those who had nothing to do also hid themselves so that they wouldn't be discovered if they were too exposed. Time slowly passed. Finally, half an hour later, a black army appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The White Tiger Legion was at the front. They advanced in a phalanx of 5,000 people. They were neat and tidy, and exuded an iron-blooded aura. This was an elite Soul Master Legion. Behind the White Tiger Legion was the Sionra Empire's 300,000-strong army. It had to be said that the aura of these 300,000-strong army gathered together was very shocking. As the front was a plain, the 300,000-strong army advanced together. They were spread out, so the formation wasn't very long. It wasn't as terrifying as the legends said. However, the front and back of the formation were separated by several kilometers. Although the formation was long, the plain was also very vast. It was large enough to contain the entire formation. Lin Yuanzhen himself was behind the White Tiger Legion, and in front of the 300,000-strong army. He was the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies. He had to lead both armies. There were 3 elders beside him. All of them had white hair and beards, and their auras weren't weak. The 3 of them were Soul Douluo. They were the high-level soul masters that Dai Tianfeng had assigned to Lin Yuanzhen. Their soul power wasn't low. They were all above rank 85. If 3 Soul Douluo like them cooperated well, they could resist a titled Douluo who had just become a titled Douluo. For example, Dugu Bo. The plains were very quiet. Other than the occasional sound of the wind, there was not the slightest movement. This caused Lin Yuanzhen, who had an extremely sharp sense of war, to sense that something was wrong. He immediately ordered the army to stop. What's wrong, Commander-in-Chief? After receiving Lin Yuanzhen's order to stop, the 3 elders were a little puzzled. They immediately asked Lin Yuanzhen, I feel that something is wrong. The plain is too quiet. Furthermore, the more we advance, the more fearful I feel. I suspect that there might be an ambush ahead. Lin Yuanzhen's brows were tightly furrowed as he spoke with a serious expression. It had to be said that Lin Yuanzhen's senses were very sensitive. He could sense danger and suspect that there was an ambush. However, it was too late. They had already stepped into the plain. On a mountain 2 to 3 kilometers away from the plain, Lu Yuan had been paying attention to Lin Yuanzhen and the others. Although there was a great distance between them, Such a distance was nothing to his dual pupils. After seeing that Lin Yuanjun and the others had completely entered the plane, Lu Yuan turned around slightly. He nodded at the disciples in charge of detonating the remote-controlled explosive soul tools. After receiving Lu Yuan's order, they immediately pressed the buttons in their hands. Chapter 782. Once the button was pressed, 5 remote-controlled explosive belts exploded. More than 2,000 remote-controlled explosive soul tools exploded at the same time. Instantly, the ground shook, and flames shot into the sky. The soil started to crack, and the ground started to collapse. Countless broken limbs and remains flew everywhere from such a powerful explosion. Blood splattered everywhere, and some were even blown to pieces. They didn't even have complete corpses. Shrill screams and despairing howls resounded throughout the entire plane. Explosive soul tools only had one use, and that was why their explosions were extremely powerful. These remote-controlled explosive soul tools were all Class 4, and each of them cost 20 to 30,000 gold soul coins on the market. The materials used to make a Class 6 soul cannon shell cost more than 10,000 gold soul coins, and each shell was sold for 50,000 gold soul coins on the market. However, each explosive soul tool cost 20 to 30,000 gold soul coins. At first glance, these explosive soul tools seemed a little expensive. However, that wasn't the case. Just a single Class 6 soul cannon shell was worth 50,000 gold soul coins. If the cannon fort was included, a standard Class 6 stationary soul cannon with 5 Class 6 soul cannon shells would cost at least 1,500,000 gold soul coins per cannon. This was also the cost price. Lu Yuan sold one to Ning Fengji for 2,500,000 gold soul coins. A single explosive soul tool wasn't cheaper than an ordinary 10,000-year soul bone. Ordinary organizations couldn't afford more than a few of them. Therefore, it wasn't too expensive to sell these explosive-type soul tools for 20 to 30,000 gold soul coins each. Furthermore, these explosive soul tools had a special characteristic, and that was that their strength could be stacked. If they were buried too close to each other, 2 explosive soul tools would explode at the same time, and their destructive strength would increase again. The 5 explosive belts in front of them had more than 2,000 soul tools buried. Although they weren't close to each other, they weren't very far. This explosion was truly earth-shattering. It was as if a clap of thunder had exploded beside their ears. The Star Luo army, who had never experienced such a battle before, was completely dumbfounded. Even the Grand Marshal of the Star Luo army, Lin Yuanjun, wore a look of shock on her face. Looking at the scene in front of him that was like the wrath of heaven, even his heart couldn't help but tremble a little. Was this the divine punishment of the gods? Marshal, this is bad. Our army suffered heavy casualties in this sudden explosion. We have an army of 300,000. This explosion has killed at least 30 to 40,000 people and wounded 50 to 60,000 people. The worst thing is that our army has been completely cut off. After the explosion, a gentle breeze blew, and the dust that filled the sky gradually dissipated. The entire layer of soil on the plains was broken, forming a total of 5 huge and ferocious abysses. Lin Yuanjun's army was divided into 4 parts. At the very front was Lin Yuanjun and the 5,000 elite soul masters of the White Tiger Legion. Because the White Tiger Legion was made up of soul masters, and because they were further away from the explosion, the casualties weren't too severe. Although the explosion was sudden, there were only a few hundred casualties. Behind them was the abyss. Excluding the 10 to 20,000 soldiers at the back, the remaining 200,000 soldiers were cut off by the 5 huge abysses. They were forcibly surrounded by the 5 abysses. This abyss was 60 to 70 meters deep and 30 meters wide. An ordinary army would not be able to cross it. Such a distance was like a natural moat to them. It could be said that these 200,000 soldiers were basically crippled. Damn it! Lin Yuanjun cursed in his heart, and his face turned ashen. He had led an army for so many years, but he had never encountered such a situation. The strength of that explosion was as frightening as a divine punishment. This time, these 300,000 soldiers were all cannon fodder. They were prepared to die in order to deplete the titled Douluo by Lu Yuan's side. However, they hadn't even seen Lu Yuan's shadow yet, but 30 to 40,000 people had died, and 50 to 60,000 were wounded. This army of 300,000 had basically lost a third of their fighting strength. What was worse was that the remaining people were almost all trapped in the 5 abysses. They were basically crippled. Now that the army was cut off, the White Tiger Legion in front of them wanted to capture Lu Yuan, who had at least 2 or 3 titled Douluo protecting him. They were probably doomed. Lin Yuanzhen was in a terrible mood. This time, he had really let His Majesty down. Lin Yuanzhen blamed himself. Suddenly, a thought flashed in his mind, and a name flashed across his mind. Lu Yuan. Could this explosion have been arranged by Lu Yuan? As soon as this thought appeared, Lin Yuanzhen's entire body shook. However, before he could continue thinking, an extremely dense sense of danger rose from the bottom of his heart, causing his hairs to stand on end. At the same time, Lu Yuan revealed a faint smile on his face as he watched the army that had been completely cut off by the 5 huge abysses. The White Tiger Legion, right? An army of 300,000, right? Today, I'll show you how terrifying soul tools are when used in war. Attention, everyone. Aim at the White Tiger Legion at the front and blast them. Lu Yuan pointed at the White Tiger Legion and gave his orders. Yes, Hall Master. After receiving Lu Yuan's orders, these disciples immediately loaded their soul cannon shells. At the same time, the mouths of the stationary soul cannons were aimed at the White Tiger Legion below. Fire! After Lu Yuan gave the order, 16 Class 6 stationary soul cannons and 10 Class 7 stationary soul cannons fired at the same time. The cannonballs shot out and blasted towards the White Tiger Corps. What's this? Before the White Tiger Legion could react, the cannon shells had already landed in the middle of them. After that, they exploded. Even a Soul Douluo would be injured if they were hit by the explosion of a Class 6 cannon shell, let alone the White Tiger Legion, which was composed of Soul Elders and Soul Ancestors. Their bodies were immediately torn to pieces by the terrifying power of the cannon shells. This was just the first wave, and 26 cannon shells had killed at least 400 to 500 elite Soul Masters in the White Tiger Legion. The explosive power of these cannon shells had an area of effect. Each cannon shell didn't just kill 1 or 2 people. Everyone within its area of effect was affected. Everyone, spread out and run in all directions. Don't gather together, Lin Yuanzhen shouted as he gave his orders to the White Tiger Legion. In the instant that the soul cannon shell exploded, he finally understood what the sense of danger he had felt earlier was. But at this point, it was already too late. Continue firing. Don't fire in one direction now. Coordinate with each other. Every 2 cannons will be responsible for one area. I want to see where the White Tiger Legion can run after we blast this entire plain. Lu Yuan laughed as he spoke. Chapter 783. Yes, Hall Master. Once Lu Yuan finished speaking, the Zither sect's disciples tacitly used a Class 6 stationary soul cannon and a Class 7 stationary soul cannon to bombard an area. The remaining 6 Class 6 soul cannons formed groups of 3 as they surrounded and bombarded the area. Under the bombardment of these soul cannons, the area where the White Tiger Legion was located was completely destroyed. There wasn't any vegetation on the ground at all. There was only a bare layer of soil. There were charred marks left by the explosions, as well as the remains left behind by the White Tiger Legion. Lu Yuan was very calm as he watched the White Tiger Legion struggling amidst the blood and fire. There wasn't a single trace of pity in his eyes. Since they were his enemies, they couldn't blame him for being ruthless. On the battlefield, it was a matter of life and death. There was a saying in the ancient times, the merciful couldn't command an army. War had always been cruel. Elder Hong Chen, you can play with the Class 8 soul cannons now. Look, there are some rats still struggling fearlessly over there. Lu Yuan's lips curled into a smile as he watched Lin Yuanzhen and the others release their martial souls and try their best to stop the soul cannons from exploding. They seemed to be 4 soul Douluo. Jing Hong Chen squinted his eyes and said softly, Even though they were very far away, titled Douluo had very good eyesight. They weren't like the disciples who needed to use the scopes on their soul cannons to aim. To them, their eyes were enough. Yes, they are 4 soul Douluo. I want to see if this Class 8 soul cannon can kill soul Douluo. Lu Yuan laughed as he said. It can if they cooperate well. Unless they are defense-oriented soul Douluo, normal soul Douluo won't be able to resist the power of a Class 8 stationary soul cannon. Jing Hongchen said. Then let's cooperate well, Elder Hongchen. Lu Yuan said. Master, I'll do as you say. Jing Hongchen acknowledged. The two of them came to where the Class 8 stationary soul cannons were installed. There are a total of 3 Class 8 stationary soul cannons. Elder Hongchen and I will take one each. If any of you are interested, you can play with the last one. Those with low soul power don't have to. You can't control it. Lu Yuan said. Let me do it. Ma Xiaodao said. All right, Sister Xiaodao. You can do it then. Lu Yuan said. The 3 Class 8 stationary soul cannons were loaded with shells as the 3 of them adjusted the cannons, and they began to aim at their targets. Elder Hongchen, Sister Xiaodao, do you see that white-robed, long-bearded old man? Blow him up first. Lu Yuan said. Yes, Master. Hua Yuanjin Xiaodao replied. Fire. Lu Yuan roared, and 3 cannonballs flew out in a triangular formation towards the bearded soul Douluo. Dean Su, be careful. Seeing the 3 cannonballs flying towards the old man, Lin Yuanjin, who was defending from the side, could not help but shout out. Don't worry, Commander. These cannons can't do anything to me. The old man had already blocked several Class 6 and Class 7 soul cannons. He wasn't worried about these 3 cannons. He had already experienced the strength of the explosions. They couldn't do anything to him when he was defending with all his might. Although there were 3 cannons, he was confident that he could block them. However, he didn't know that these cannons weren't Class 6 or Class 7 soul cannons. They were Class 8 stationary soul cannons. They were very powerful. He might not even be able to block one, let alone 3 cannons. Explosive bare true body. The long-bearded old man bellowed, and his body suddenly swelled up. Black light flashed, and his entire person turned into a 5-meter-long explosive bear. The explosive bear wasn't a top-ranked martial soul. It couldn't compare to Zhao Wuji's strength Vajra bear, let alone Ling Wei's dark golden terror claw bear. However, the explosive bear was a high-ranked martial soul. It specialized in strength. Its offensive strength was very terrifying, and its defensive strength was very impressive. Block it for me. The old man thought about dodging. These Class 8 soul cannons were too fast. He wasn't good at speed, so he couldn't dodge them. He could only take them head-on. Boom. The 3 Class 8 soul cannon shells collided with the burst bare true body, and sparks immediately soared into the sky. An earth-shattering explosion rang out, and the burst bare true body was almost instantly torn apart. The long-bearded elder only had time to let out a tragic cry before he completely disappeared. The shockwave of the explosion spread out and sent the 3 people not far from the bearded old man flying. A huge crater more than 100 meters deep and more than 500 meters in diameter appeared where the old man had been standing. Class 8 soul cannons were really terrifying. Lin Yuanjin was pushed back more than 100 meters by the shockwave before he managed to stabilize himself in midair. Blood was trickling from the corner of his mouth, indicating that he had been injured. The power of 3 Class 8 soul cannon shells was not to be underestimated. Only a titled Douluo would be able to withstand them. Even a normal titled Douluo would be injured. Dean Su. Lin Yuanjin exclaimed when he saw the soul Douluo being torn apart by the 3 soul cannons. There was a trace of sorrow in his voice. A rank 86 soul Douluo, the dean of the Imperial Star Luo Academy, had died in front of him. Lin Yuanjin's heart trembled as he looked at the crater created by the 3 Class 8 soul cannons. If he had been hit by such terrifying power, he wouldn't even have a corpse left. It's over. It's all over. He turned to look at the battlefield not far away. The ground was covered in blood and debris. Almost all of the White Tiger Legion's 5,000 soldiers had been killed. Only 100 of them were still alive. The first Soul Master Legion of the Star Luo Empire, an elite team that could kill titled Douluo, had been completely blown to smithereens before they could even be seen. He didn't even have a chance to use the military formation that he was so proud of. I hate this. Lin Yuanzhen roared into the sky. He had never been defeated in his life. Who would have thought that he would be defeated so miserably today? Furthermore, the White Tiger Legion's Soul Masters were all treasured by the Sionra Empire. There were only 8,000 Soul Masters in the entire Star Luo Empire. 5,000 of them had been killed today. It was a huge loss. Dai Tianfeng would probably faint on the spot if he knew about this. Your Majesty, I've let you down. Lu Yuan, you bastard. Come out. Lin Yuanzhen roared as he stared at Lu Yuan and the others. He had been bombarded for so long. How could he not know that Lu Yuan and the others were hiding on the mountain in front of him? Only from a high vantage point could the White Tiger Legion be reduced to such a sorry state. There was nowhere for them to hide. As the Grand Marshal of the Star Luo Empire's 3 armies, Lin Yuanzhen was very clear about this. Chapter 784. His Dead. Lu Yuan's eyes involuntarily lit up when he saw the spectacular explosion scene. The corners of his mouth curled slightly as he softly said, "That's to be expected. How can a Soul Douluo like him resist the attack of 3 Class 8 stationary soul cannon shells?" Jing Hongchen was very calm. He was very clear about the strength of Class 8 soul cannon shells. Elder Hongchen is right. When the 3 cannonballs collided, the power they unleashed was enormous. "Even I would be injured if I was not careful," Ma Xiaodao said with a sigh. Even though she was a rank 96 titled Douluo, she would have been severely injured if she'd been caught off guard by this attack. Titled Douluo's offensive strength was very strong, and their soul power was abundant. However, their physical bodies weren't that strong. They were stronger than Soul Douluo, but there was a limit to their strength. This was the limitation of the Douluo continent's cultivation. The strength of one's physical body couldn't keep up with the increase in offensive strength. Generally speaking, apart from defense-type Soul Masters and a small number of offense-type Soul Masters who were exceptionally talented, the rest of the Soul Masters, even titled Douluo, wouldn't be able to resist the slashes of blades if they didn't use their martial souls and soul power. It was laughable, but this was the current situation of Soul Masters on the Douluo continent. There was probably only one person in the world who had a jade-like body that was invulnerable to weapons and invulnerable to fire and water like Lu Yuan. There wasn't a single Soul Master whose physical body could compare to Lu Yuan's under the God rank. This was the case even for ultimate Douluo like Long Xiaoyaro and Pasisi. The reason why they were terrifying was because of their soul power, not their physical bodies. Even Poseidon had a hard time holding Poseidon's trident, which weighed 108,000 kilograms. Lu Yuan, on the other hand, had a force of 200,000 kilograms. To be honest, even if Lu Yuan had used up all his soul power, he would still be able to go in and out of the White Tiger Legion on his own. That was because no one below the titled rank could hurt him at all. Perhaps his soul force would be depleted very quickly, but Lu Yuan's physical strength wouldn't be depleted even after 5 to 6 hours of continuous fighting. He didn't need to use his soul force at all. He only needed to rely on his powerful physique and his 200,000 kilograms of strength. Every punch and kick was fatal to those soul masters. Lu Yuan alone could wipe out the entire White Tiger Corps. Therefore, Dai Tianfeng's plan was doomed to fail from the very beginning. It wasn't that there was a problem with his plan, but rather the person he was targeting. Lu Yuan wasn't a normal soul master at all. Furthermore, there was an ultimate Douluo like Long Xiaoyaro and a Class 9 soul engineer like Jing Hongchen behind him. They were almost fatal to these soldiers. There were 2 reasons why Lu Yuan had planned all of this instead of relying on brute strength. Firstly, it was because the people behind him were all titled Douluo. Asking them to attack a Soul Master Legion was like using sledgehammers to crack a nut. In other words, it was a little unworthy of their statuses. Secondly, Lu Yuan wanted to test the strength of soul tools in battle. This was a powerful weapon that the martial Soul Palace would rely on to unify the continent in the future. Of course, the results were delightful. Soul tools were like nightmares to these Soul Master armies. Sister Xiaodao is right. This Class 8 stationary soul cannon is very powerful. I just don't know how powerful a Class 9 stationary soul cannon will be. Lu Yuan said softly. Hall Master, you'll have the chance to see it. I don't think the strength of this Class 9 stationary soul cannon will disappoint you. Jing Hongchen said confidently. After hearing this, Lu Yuan smiled. He looked at the battlefield, which was almost completely destroyed. He lifted his hand and signaled for them to stop firing. Cannon shells were quite expensive. Since they were almost done, there was no need to waste them. Let's go, everyone. Let's kill the rest of the rats. Lu Yuan said softly. He hugged Zhu Zhuqing, and a golden dragon projection appeared beneath his feet. He turned into a streak of golden light and went straight for the battlefield. Long Xiaoyao and the rest hurriedly followed. Lu Yuan, you bastard. Come out now. Lin Yuanzhen was still roaring from where she was. Are you looking for me? A faint voice sounded. Lu Yuan hugged Zhu Zhuqing and suddenly appeared in midair. You're Lu Yuan? After seeing Lu Yuan appear, Lin Yuanzhen stared straight at Lu Yuan. His eyes were blood red, and his expression was ferocious. There was a terrifying killing intent in his eyes. Lu Yuan had destroyed 5,000 elite soul masters from the White Tiger Legion. Lin Yuanzhen really wanted to eat his flesh and drink his blood. You're the marshal of the Sionra Empire's 3 armies, Lin Yuanzhen, right? How was it? Did it feel good to be bombarded? I prepared it especially for you and the White Tiger Legion. Don't thank me. Lu Yuan laughed softly. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. After hearing Lu Yuan's words, Lin Yuanzhen was furious. His killing intent surged. However, he still had doubts in his heart. Hence, he temporarily suppressed his killing intent. What was that? Lin Yuanzhen's heart trembled a little when he thought about the terrifying impact of the soul cannon shell. It's called a stationary soul cannon. It's a type of soul tool. In the future, the Sionra Empire will be destroyed because of it. You're the first to experience its power, but you won't be the last. In the future, the other armies of the Sionra Empire will have a taste of what you've experienced today. Lu Yuan said plainly. What did you say? Lin Yuanzhen couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine upon hearing Lu Yuan's words. The Star Luo Empire's army was indeed powerful, but if they were to encounter the same situation as him today, then no matter how many soldiers they had, they would still be blasted into smithereens. Furthermore, this person actually wanted to destroy the Sionra Empire. No, I can't let this person live. Otherwise, the Star Luo Empire will be in danger. A thought suddenly appeared in Lin Yuanzhen's mind, and the killing intent in his heart surged explosively. He was extremely loyal to the Star Luo royal family, and seeing as he was going to die for sure, he was going to drag this threat to the Star Luo Empire down with him before he died. Die! Lin Yuanzhen roared and suddenly launched an attack. Moreover, he attacked with all his strength. In midair, a huge tiger that was 8 meters long attacked Lu Yuan. It was Lin Yuanzhen's martial soul true body, the tyrannical tiger true body. Pointless attack. Lu Yuan's eyes were indifferent. He hugged Zhu Zhuqing with his left hand and waved his right hand. The golden dragon spear appeared in his hand. Zhuqing, watch carefully. Unpredictable storm. Chapter 785. The 8-meter-long tyrannical tiger true body roared into the sky and pounced towards Lu Yuan. Lin Yuanzhen no longer cared about his own life, and all he wanted to do was drag Lu Yuan down with him. On one hand, the White Tiger Legion had been annihilated, and the 300,000-strong army had been crushed. Lin Yuanzhen didn't have the face to see Dai Tianfeng again. He was the commander of the Sionra Empire's 3 armies, but his entire army had been annihilated. Furthermore, The annihilation of the White Tiger Legion had completely shaken the foundation of the Sionra Empire's soul masters. On the other hand, Lu Yuan's existence was too great a threat to the Sionra Empire. The power of his stationary soul cannons was even more shocking. If these things were used on the Sionra Empire's army in the future, it would be a disaster. Therefore, Lin Yuanzhen was willing to use his last bit of strength to drag Lu Yuan down with him. He wanted to get rid of this scourge for the Sionra Empire. Lin Yuanzhen's idea was good, but he neglected an extremely important problem. Lu Yuan was far stronger than him. Unbounded storm. The golden dragon spear appeared in Lu Yuan's hand. Lu Yuan's wrist shook slightly, and the golden dragon spear drew a circle in the air. Suddenly, a golden halo shot out and landed on the huge tyrannical tiger true body. In just an instant, the tyrannical tiger true body froze on the spot. Unbounded storm, the first move of the sea god's 13 halberds. It ignored rank, and once it hit, it would definitely work. With Lu Yuan's current strength, he could control Lin Yuanzhen for 8 seconds and immobilize him. 8 seconds was enough for Lu Yuan to kill Lin Yuanzhen several times over. Never to return. Golden light flashed, and the golden dragon spear turned into a streak of bright golden light. It shot forward, and a loud dragon's roar could be heard. Splat. This was the sound of the spear tip piercing into the tyrant tiger's body. The tyrant tiger true body was over 8 meters in length, and it was punctured by the golden dragon spear. The tyrant tiger true body dissipated, and Lin Yuanzhen's body reappeared. You. Lin Yuanzhen raised his right hand with great difficulty. He wanted to say something, but he didn't have the ability to say a single word. Blood continued to pour out of his mouth, and the light in his eyes slowly dimmed. His only fate was to be pierced through by the golden dragon spear, which was imbued with the power of engulfment. Lin Yuanzhen's body suddenly fell, making a thud. Lu Yuan slowly descended onto the ground before waving a hand, and the golden dragon spear that was several dozen meters away flew back into his hand. In just 2 moves, he had killed a rank 88 soul Douluo. Even without using his martial soul, Lu Yuan would most likely be able to pummel Douluo Bo with just his soul power and physical strength. Once he unleashed his martial soul, he would be able to put up a fight against the sword Douluo, and even if he couldn't defeat him, he wouldn't lose too badly. Lin Yuanzhen was a rank 88 soul Douluo, so she was no match for him. How much have you learned from those 2 moves? Lu Yuan wasn't affected by the fact that he had killed Lin Yuanzhen in 2 moves. Instead, he turned to Zhu Zhuqing. After becoming a soul emperor, Zhu Zhuqing was going to head to the Sea God's Island to receive the Sea God's inheritance, so she had to learn the Sea God's divine skills. Lu Yuan only had 4 moves of the Sea God's divine skills, but just these 4 moves were enough for Zhu Zhuqing to learn. In particular, the first 3 moves were the foundation of the entire Sea God's 13 halberds. Once she learned the first 3 moves, it would be a lot easier for her to learn the rest. As such, Lu Yuan had already demonstrated the Sea God's divine skills to Zhu Zhuqing in advance. Can I say that I haven't learned much? Zhu Zhuqing was a little embarrassed as she looked at Lu Yuan. What did you say? Lu Yuan's eyes narrowed upon hearing Zhu Zhuqing's words, and a dangerous light flashed in his eyes. Was she distracted again? I said that I've only learned a little. Zhu Zhuqing glanced at Lu Yuan before lowering her head. She was usually very confident when she spoke in front of Lu Yuan, but she felt a little guilty when it came to spear techniques. Lu Yuan was very serious when he taught her, but she learned very slowly. Therefore, she was a little embarrassed when faced with Lu Yuan's question. Alas, forget it. Learning a little is still better than not learning anything at all. However, I'll give you 2 months after we return. During this period of time, you must learn the vast ocean spear art and learn the basics of unpredictable storm. Otherwise, HMPH. Lu Yuan snorted as he spoke. Otherwise, what do you want? Zhu Zhuqing asked. Otherwise, I'll spank your butt again. Lu Yuan's gaze wandered around Zhu Zhuqing's perky butt. Swish. Zhu Zhuqing's pretty face suddenly turned red when she heard Lu Yuan's words. She recalled the time when she was spanked with Chihiro Snow and the others. She suddenly felt very embarrassed. Bad egg. Zhu Zhuqing secretly scolded. Whatever you say. This matter is settled. You can resist, but with your strength, he. Lu Yuan chuckled with a trace of disdain in his tone. This chuckle immediately angered Zhu Zhuqing. Lu Yuan was actually mocking her strength. Anger rose from her heart. She looked at Lu Yuan's shoulder and opened her mouth, wanting to bite it. Cough, cough. Bite me, but remember the consequences of biting me last time. Lu Yuan chuckled as he looked at Zhu Zhuqing's action. Zhu Zhuqing's body trembled when she heard this. She recalled Lu Yuan's jade-like body and immediately retracted her little mouth. This fellow, she bit him for so long, but nothing happened to him. Instead, she was the one who was in so much pain. You only know how to bully me. Zhu Zhuqing pouted and said coquettishly. Lu Yuan couldn't help but chuckle when he saw this. He gently rubbed her head. Ever since they got engaged, this girl's personality had changed a lot. She was really becoming more and more adorable. I wonder if there are any soul bones. As the marshal of the Sionra Empire's 3 armies, it would be too embarrassing if he didn't even have a soul bone. Lu Yuan spoke softly as he gently probed Lin Yuanzhen's body with his golden dragon spear. There really is one. As soon as he sensed the peculiar fluctuations emanating from the golden dragon spear, Lu Yuan abruptly exerted some force and flicked his wrist, sending a golden right arm bone flying through the air. Lu Yuan used his spiritual power and immediately hovered it in mid-air. The right arm bone of a 20,000-year fierce divine tiger. It's not bad. Lu Yuan recognized the type and age of the soul bone at a glance. He opened his palm slightly and used his soul power to remove the bloodstains on it. Then, he kept it in his astral ring. Lin Yuanzhen, Grand Marshal of the Star Luo Army, I've eliminated yet another powerful enemy today. Without Lin Yuanzhen, the Star Luo Army has lost a pillar of support. It'll be much easier to attack the Star Luo Army in the future. It will be easier to defeat the Star Luo Empire in the future, Lu Yuan said softly as he looked at Lin Yuanzhen's corpse. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.